Hello, everyone. We be live. Harris is busy with some technical issues, and he will be he's gonna be right with us very soon. But I mean, he is here, but he's just busy. But so we didn't hear him saying. I don't know what he said. Hello. I'm gonna do his version. Hello.
I'm back. That's not
I'm
what I
back.
do. That's Susanna.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
do
Wait.
I
Go.
say? Well, no,
We be live.
we be
You go
like
like
we be like.
that.
Jesus Christ! It started off as a joke, and look at this. I've become the
Yeah.
joke.
It's
What have we
cute. It's
got?
adorable. What
What
do we
have
got?
we got?
We
We've got
have
a
a whole
lot.
bunch. Yeah, we got you have a lot of topics you want to talk about. We have 5 Patreon questions. By the way, guys, if you want your questions to be answered, you could become a Patreon on Secular Jihadists. But other than that, you could also support Harris Sultan on Patreon. Link to his Patreon is in the description. Also, any super chats to either the Secular Jihadist channel or Harris Sultan channel will be answered as well. So you could, if you haven't sent your questions through Patreon, you could do super chats right now. And then what else? Yes, and also please like the videos. Like whether
Like
you're
and
watching this
share.
on whether you're watching this on Secular Jihadist or Higher Sultan channel, just take a second. It doesn't cost you anything other than half a second, and like the video so that these channels grow. So thank you for that. Oh, hi from Italy! Yay! So yeah, look, we're so
Yes.
international. Wait, why are you in Italy? I thought you were in France, but that's cool. Audio is great. Thank you so much, Soha, for confirming that. And let's just get into the Patreon questions. So let me tell you, we have something about the red pill Islam relationship. I have something about Afghan Taliban question. I have something about Charlie Hebdo. I am talking about something about Pakistan. And yeah, so which one do you want to go first? Should I do Charlie Hebdo because actually this is important because it's about the
I
Turkey.
wanted to talk about. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too. So
Yeah.
I think let's start with Charlie Hebdo.
Okay, so the question is, well, what do you think about Charlie Hebdo mocking the Syria Turkey earthquake? I mean, I don't think it was mocking,
It was mocking.
but it is. Is it mocking? I don't describe it as mocking, but so I will. Maybe you go first, and then I will tell you why I don't think it's mocking.
Okay, so as you know, and we were going to talk a lot about what happened in Turkey. This is a catastrophe of biblical proportions. Sorry for lack of a better term, but it's so gut wrenching. It's so heartbreaking. Let me show you this photo first. It was reported by Guardian as well, saying that this father was holding the hand of his daughter who was dying, and then Guardian said that she actually died, but then I read some other confirmed news stories that she was actually alive. He was just there for her company. And then there was another heart where it actually breaks your heart is they showed an earlier photo of her, of him and his daughter, where he's also holding her hand and she's alive and obviously, in happy days. This is just a little glimpse of the kind of catastrophe and the tragedy that has befallen on these people. There's so many things that I want to say. There's so many philosophical points that I want to score. Imtiaz Mahmood actually scored a philosophical point where he said, "Where is Allah?" or something like that. I am all for, in moments like these, asking the big questions. I'm all for it. I'm all for you want to make people think. When your loved one dies, that's the time when you actually ask the big questions. And well, that person was just there. Where did that person go? What happened? Why did God take him or her away from? I thought that when my grandmother died, and it set me on a journey that who knows that probably 10 years later I lost my faith altogether. I get it, but then we see these video clips that are coming out of Turkey, mainly Turkey, not from Syria because of the sanctions and all that. It is simply gut wrenching, and I get it that we're only seeing at the end of the day we're having a bird's eye view. We're seeing that okay, well, there's so many buildings that are just razed to the ground, and who knows how many thousands of people are underneath the rubble. We get that, and then to us, it becomes just a statistic. 3,000 people died, 4,000 people died. We don't know, and then we have this ability to become cold. I don't want to be that person. So as I said, I would want to talk about these things. I would want to say those things, but I won't, because we know this is not the time. Now come back to Charlie Hebdo. Charlie Hebdo says, what did they say? They said, I think the caption reads something like, "Picture of the day, no tanks needed." Now, some people said, so I criticized it. Can you share my screen, please? So I first said that this is beyond vile and disgusting. Charlie Hebdo, you're disgraceful, attention-seeking filth. I get it. You want to seek attention. You want to score points. You want to hey, let's maximize the number of people we can offend. Okay, I get it, but this is not the time. Making fun of historical figures is fine, which is Muhammad. Fine, go for it. Make fun of him all you want. But then doing this at a time like this.
So the caption says the caption below says tanks are not even needed, right?
Yes. So
right here.
Yeah. So this is why my immediate next tweet was this one. So what about this? Are you gonna make fun of this as well? This father too? Like, ha, who's this guy holding his hand? Like, I mean, what's the point of that? So I did a bit of digging, and I thought, okay, let me look into it. What is this? So apparently it's a reference to Kurdistan, where Turkey sent their armies and they razed their cities to the ground. And a lot of people died, etc. Obviously, that was an act of war. I get it. And then basically it was a reference to that. Some people say that it's a reference to shoddy workmanship of Turkey or shoddy engineering of Turkey. Okay, whatever case that is, it is still not the best time. There are people literally dying. At that time when that came out, there were people literally buried under the rubble. And they're hoping, and their relatives who are outside, they're hoping that maybe my child is still alive. Maybe my father or my mother is still alive. Maybe. And this is just cold and callous. I think this is pathetic, disgusting, and Charlie Hebdo should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, I disagree a lot. I think dark people should understand that dark humor is a tool that is used to bring attention to something. I mean, when you're using dark humor on something, you're not trying to make light of it. You're actually trying to use the irony or some really bitter form of humor as a way to, highlight something. And I don't even know how this is making fun of it. Is showing how devastating the situation is. That is equivalent to, like, you're looking at a place that is war torn, and now on top of that you have an earthquake which is devastating people, and you're now putting all of this together. Like, these are people who
were tanks are not needed. What does that mean?
Now that means, like, on top of, like, now look at this, now even without tanks these people are devastated. Like, even without tanks you have absolute destruction. Like, these people are experiencing destruction and devastation with tanks, and now situation is so bad that you don't even need tanks for you to have caused so much misery, for you to have this much misery. I don't know how this is making fun of them.
Are you sure that's the only thing they meant? It's a very vague, subjective photo. You can make any.
Then why
you can make any?
If it's vague and okay, hold on, let me speak. If it's vague and subjective, then why are you saying they're making fun of it?
Because it's callous. You're not going to make any references to Jews being put in the gas chambers. You're not going to be making any light of that situation.
Do.
No, you shouldn't.
You do. But no, there's a lot of there are many Jewish comedians who do that. There are many comedians who do that.
Not.
What are you talking about? In fact, you should be doing it. That's the whole point of dark humor.
No, you should not be doing it when those Jews are dying at that very moment. Okay, this is right now. I'm okay with you. You want to make political points, philosophical points. You want to score those points, but just don't do it now while people are dying.
No. Okay, I actually do it now. We need you to do it now.
No, I don't want to do it now.
Okay, you don't do it, but I'm just telling you.
I think that's bad. That's bad.
Okay, fine. You think that?
That's
I'm just
terrible.
Telling you Yeah. Okay. I heard what you think, Harris. Let me just tell you, on top of it, what I think. I think I'm actually very thankful to Charlie Hebdo, because how else would Charlie Hebdo cover something like this? Like, this is such a devastating disaster that we need maximum attention on it. And Charlie Hebdo is also like something that, and I noticed that some people are completely. I know people in my personal life that haven't even heard about this devastating earthquake. We need this to be shown everywhere. We need to make sure that every media is talking about this, because you shouldn't be able to escape this. I'm shocked at how something so devastating, people are not noticing that, and this earthquake even happened. So if Charlie, I think like when it comes to making fun of or mock, this is vague enough for you to not even be guaranteed that this is making fun of it. So this is good that Charlie Hebdo at least is showing this in the way Charlie Hebdo covers things, so that it makes it more difficult for people to escape such an event. I'm actually very grateful for Charlie Hebdo for making sure that the earthquake, there is something about the earthquake in their publication. So thank you. That's what I think. I know you disagree, but I think this is
Yeah,
not making fun of it.
that's
I
a
don't think this is
stretch.
making light. I don't think this is making light of it at all. I think
I
this
think
is
that's a stretch.
No, I mean, you said yourself it's vague, so I don't know how you could interpret that this
That's
is
why,
making fun
because
of it.
there's a thing called sensitivity around death and destruction of people.
Yeah, and not
When
talking about it would be very insensitive. So I'm
not
thinking
talking about it like this, you can talk about it. There's a million other ways to talk about it. You
more.
want to make a cartoon caricature, and
Yes,
and you
in
want to say,
fact,
well,
that's the
tanks are
best
not
way to
needed.
talk. I think that's the best way to talk
Okay,
about it,
all right.
because you know why? Actually, because the people who are offended by this are now talking about the earthquake even more. So well done, Charlie Hebdo.
Really,
That
they're
you,
talking
yeah,
more about this. No, they're not
yeah.
talking about like that. You think that Charlie Hebdo did it because they had this terrible pain in their heart for the victims of Turkey and
That's not what I'm
Syria, and they
saying.
thought, okay, you know what,
That's a fallacy.
we need. Hang on a second, let me finish my point. We need no, because intent also matters. Why they did it, what they did. What's
Yeah.
what's the intent behind it? Okay, fine. Nobody's going to die by looking at it, and I sure as hell hope that the victims of this earthquake are not going to look at it and find this cold and this callous behavior of some people who so Charlie Hebdo's the building was attacked a few years ago in Paris. Imagine Muslims making, just saying that, oh, no armies needed to attack these pesky French who make our cartoons. Again, a lot of people would say, that's okay. Yeah, like you might say, yeah, that's okay. But it would be an insult to those who got killed in those attacks. At that very moment, sure, 5 years later, 10 years later, yeah, you can give a reference to it. I talk about it. I talk about some really tough things in the past, and I can say, hey, where's Allah? We talk about the story of Lot. We can even talk about the Holocaust, but not now. This is insensitive. I don't know. I think people are missing a sensitivity chip.
Right. So first of all, notice how I was trying to finish a point, and you didn't let me finish, even though when you were speaking, you said, let me finish my point. I was in the middle of making my point, and you stopped me. And then you stopped me to make a logical fallacy. You stopped me to say something that I didn't. I was trying to show you how effective this has been, right? Regardless of the intentions. I didn't say the intentions don't matter. I never claim intentions don't matter. But at that moment, I was looking at the consequences and the result, right? And then you said on my behalf that, oh, so you think that they did this for this, and I did not talk about their intentions. You put that in my mouth, and I wasn't saying it. What I was referring to, if you had let me finish, was about the actual results. The actual results is that when you offend people, they tend to talk about it. And the result has been, imagine if Charlie Hebdo had just put a page of like, oh, we are devastated by the earthquake in Turkey. That wouldn't get any attention. That wouldn't get much attention. This is now making more people are talking about the earthquake because people are offended. And what I care about is that less people able to escape the fact that this earthquake has happened in Turkey. And I think I'm happy with the results. And I also want to add this. You brought up a fantastic example. You're like, imagine if after the attack on the offices of Charlie Hebdo, people were making fun of it. People were making, dare I say, caricatures about the attack. Well, you know who did that? Do you know who did that, sir? Charlie Hebdo did that. Charlie Hebdo had cartoons and caricatures about the attack on Charlie Hebdo. So this is just their style. Again, if we're thinking making cartoons of a disaster means that Charlie Hebdo is dismissing it or making light of it, that would mean Charlie Hebdo would be dismissing or making light of the attack on their own staff.
Can you bring that up? What those cartoons were? I want to see that.
I can't. I don't know if I can show that.
Okay. That's fine. Give me a sec. Charlie Hebdo.
I remember the making the neck being cut out and the tongue coming out of the neck, making fun. That was a good one. There was a couple.
No, it's what's this little weapon which hurts us so much?
No, there was another one.
Yeah, there's another one.
There was a whole bunch.
Is coming out. There's a finger coming out of the Charlie Hebdo magazine. So it's.
There was another
actually...
one. There's another one where the head is cut off and the tongue is like going like to the.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly. So they're actually showing themselves as kind of victims in that. So they're not making light of that. They're actually making a good point.
Oh,
here,
so now
no. There's no oh my goodness, there is no freaking comparison. Making them look like as heroes in that one. Here, they're making a joke. They're saying, "Well, no tanks are needed." You can even interpret like this.
Where's the ha? Oh, you add in.
Of course you can add in. Of course you can. Because you're being overly charitable and you're saying that this is not how I'm going to interpret it. This is how anyone would interpret it.
Okay.
That especially them with having a history, having a history with Turkey and making a point over Kurdistan. And a lot of people have said that this is in reference to Turkey sending their tanks to Kurdistan. Right. So it's in reference to that. How you sent tanks there. Well, here no tanks are needed. God's gonna take care of you, or something like that. So this is just bad. It's in a bad taste. I don't know why you're trying to be so charitable.
Well, okay, so you cannot have it both ways. You say at the same time that it's vague enough for you to have any interpretation. Okay, and at the same time you say that you are sure that this is meant to make light of the victims. These are contradictions, Harris. Either it's vague and you could have multiple interpretations, or it's obviously making light of it. To me, what I could be wrong, okay? My interpretation, the first time I saw it, was obviously this is comparing one devastation with another devastation. The devastation from the earthquake is comparable to a devastation from absolute war and chaos. That was the obvious interpretation for me. And if you were like, why are you being charitable? I thought that was a good thing. I thought that's what we do. We steelman the people who we're considering to criticize. This is called arguing in good faith. Rather than strawmanning them and considering the worst take, you consider the best take. The best take for me to show. I mean, and also clever with the vagueness. Maybe if the fact that you could think of, you are bringing attention, and at the same time, if people want to be offended, it shows more about them rather than the message that is being sent. I don't think anybody. I think it's very, very presumptuous to assume that people are this monstrous. I think it's very unlikely that somebody that is working at Charlie Hebdo doesn't care about how many, like last time I checked, it was like 12,000 people had died, right? 12,000 of people who have died. We're assuming that they are making light of that. That is the most uncharitable. You're thinking, you're saying I'm being charitable? I don't even know a monster that big of a monster to think that humans' life lost to that scale is something to be made light of. I think you are being extremely uncharitable rather than me being too charitable. Anyways, that's just my take. But I do also want people. Soha is saying, isn't this just a freedom of speech, guys? Soha, the freedom of speech thing is a matter of legality. When you judge something, if we're judging it as positive or negative, that's a separate topic for whether or not it should be legal to say it or not. Obviously, we're saying, and not just because something is free to say, that means it's a good thing to say. Yes, of course, free speech covers it. That's a completely different topic. But anyways, do you want to continue this discussion, or have we made both of us?
I think we've put forward our points. So the only correction I want to make is that maybe the word wasn't right about why you're being so charitable. Obviously, we should be charitable, but I think you're giving an undue benefit of the doubt. So I just found a reference to it. They've actually done that to Italy as well. Back in 2016, there was a there was a terrible earthquake in Italy, and they made a cartoon, and they made dead Italians, and they drew a lasagna, and they put dead Italians, and then they're making fun of them as well. So I think
it's called dark
intent.
humor.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's still pathetic. Dark humor. Yeah, right. It's just bad, and it got sued. It got sued by Italy, and I haven't been able to read the whole article. It's on BBC. I'll put the link in the description. So I think it's just in bad taste. I could say that it's in bad taste. I don't think our humanity should fall that low. That if you think that this is how you're going to draw attention to a cause by making outrageous, disgusting, vile jokes about a situation, then I think your humanity is already dead, and maybe it's not worth preserving.
Okay, yeah. So for me to see that I'm being very generous with my charitability, I think you are claiming that these people have lost their humanity. Their humanity is dead.
Yes.
So I think you're actually my claim is that you are being extremely uncharitable. And for me to think this is so uncommon for people to just not care about other human lives, I think that's very unfair for us to be that uncharitable to someone's take. So, by the way, I just want to mention that.
Armin, but very quickly.
Let me. Go.
No, on the same point, I want to ask. So you were saying that initially you thought that they're not making fun of the situation, and fair enough. That one is a little bit vague, and even though your interpretation seems a bit far-fetched, and my interpretation seems a bit more likelier. Now it does more in the case of this
Don't show something that is.
record.
Be careful not to show something.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to show you the actual cartoon. I'm just going to show you the BBC headline. So besides, I mean, it's obviously not as bad as that one. So Charlie Hebdo sued by Quake Kid, a mattress over a mattress, however you say it, over cartoon. So in that one, they're actually showing dead Italians as lasagna. So they want to draw outrage. They want to be as much outrageous as possible. So I think they are making fun of that. So, fair enough. You think that okay? So them keeping up with the tradition. They're logically consistent. They make fun of everyone. And initially, you saying that they're probably not making fun of it. But do you think that they're more likelier to be making fun of it than not making fun of it?
So the thing is, I think people need to be more familiar with the whole point of dark humor. Okay, the whole point of dark humor is to use something ironic or something laughable in the most devastating of situations. Okay, and there's two utilities to dark humor. First of all, it's a coping mechanism, and second of all, it's a way to make people swallow a very hard pill to swallow with having a sugar coating around it. So people are paralyzed when it comes to the amount of bad news that are coming at them. So they become so desensitized to it that they want to shut it off because of the accessibility of news. Consumption of that much bad news becomes so overburdening for some people that they just want to shut down the news for them to not to even be informed by it. So what dark humor does, it gives you the bad news, and it just puts one very thin layer of sugarcoating around it, so that makes it easier for you to consume that hard to swallow pill, right? And that is a very effective. And again, I know some people are going to be very offended by that sugar coating, but again, if the utility of it is that more people are going to be exposed to it, I say let it be. Even to me, I care less about the people who are offended by it. I care more about how widespread the news becomes, and whatever tools it takes for you to spread the news, I say go for it.
Okay, moving on. On the same topic, though, did you by any chance look at this tweet which went viral? That this guy by the name of Frank Hugebeats, he's a scientist, by the way, so it's not some quackery. He actually made this prediction on 3rd of February, this couple of days before the actual devastating earthquake in Turkey. He says sooner or later there will be a magnitude 7.5 earthquake in this region, South Central Turkey, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. And it came true. Now, as you can see, it got viewed by 54 million times, 58,000
How long before
retweets.
the earthquake he said that?
Couple of days before that.
Mhm.
What's the date? Quickly Google it. What's the date of Turkey, Syria earthquake? 6th of February. Okay, so he made this prediction on 3rd of Feb. So 3 days before that. So a lot of people went crazy. They're like, blah, look at this. Nobody listened to you, blah, blah, blah. I actually shared that as well, thinking that, okay, this is pro-science and people should be educated on that. And therefore, we
Probably
should talk
accidental.
about it. No, it's not accidental. It's actually worse than that. So it is he does work in this department that actually looks into the seismic activity of the earth. So it's not only just that. He made them, or his department, or his organization has made multiple predictions as well. Like this one, that there's going to be
I saw this, by the way, because I saw on Iranian social media saying that, oh no, Iran is screwed, because they said that the person who predicted the Turkey earthquake is now saying that Iran is next, and that's why this was making a lot of waves on Iranian social media. So that's how I saw it.
So there you go. This one is on right on India and Pakistan, right there. So yeah, I think it could be this one. So he made this prediction on 29th of January. Now, obviously, so I looked it up a little bit more, and then he made these similar predictions about other places as well. So none of them actually happened. Now that's not to say that he's lying or this is just quackery. There is some science in that, but the proper science behind that is that you actually don't know. So even if the relevant authorities in Turkey and Syria had seen this tweet, or they could not have done anything. There's absolutely nothing you can do, because these predictions are not reliable. Because what are you going to tell people? Hey, from this entire region, you need to evacuate these 5 cities and go somewhere else. Go Airbnb it for next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes these predictions, as I said, like the one made about Pakistan and Iran, that one was made in January, and nothing's happened since then. Imagine if someone was listening and said, hey, okay, you know what? This department has told us, so this organization has told us, so we better Airbnb it. It just doesn't work that way. There's no solution. The only solution to that is better engineering. I was watching this documentary.
Wait, so the predictions, how did he make those predictions?
No, so they do watch the seismic activity. So there's a lot of science behind it. It's not BS. So they have been collecting data from the ground, but it just in this case they made a right prediction, but it doesn't always work that way. Earthquakes are almost impossible to predict. They're not like weather. With weather, we have a better chance of predicting weather than earthquakes.
The way, yeah, because if there was enough science for people to predict this, there would be more people giving a warning about this.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be
exactly.
this is the science behind this does not require. So people think that science is more of a methodology, that you rely on the methodology rather than the genius of one individual. So if there was a methodology that would have predicted this, like the community that is responsible for this would have. We already have a lot of institutions that are meant to do all that they can to predict these things. So I would think that the way I explain it to people is that there are people on the internet making predictions about everything all the time. It would be weird if accidentally some of them just don't come, amazing, like close to a miracle-like prediction coming true, like a prophecy. Like, if you don't see those, you have to be weird. Like, given how much widespread the internet is and how much people are coming out and saying things, of course you're going to see some matches even by random. I mean, I'm not
Remember
saying
the guy
this
who
is
made a prediction about Queen's death?
Who?
But there was a guy who had been making predictions
right.
about the Queen's death, and then
Yeah.
one actually turned out to be true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, given how many people, how many wackos are online and making, I mean, I'm not saying this guy is a wacko, but even if it's a completely wacko person just making up predictions, you should be surprised that there wasn't just happened to be somebody that was making a prediction right before the death and that ends up being true. Because people are just, it's just random things happening all the time. Like, for example, the example I give is that one time I opened a book, like it was a book more than 1,000 pages, and I went at the page like 326, for example. And I don't know exactly what page it was, but I opened it and it was exactly the page I wanted it. Was this a miracle? If you keep in mind that I open books all the time, many times in my life, the fact that this happens, it doesn't become that interesting anymore. Of course,
I have a very interesting take on that. I have a very interesting take on that too. How many times we notice this time? 7-Eleven and 9/11. Has that ever happened to you? Like when you look at your watch and you're like, oh, it's 7-Eleven, it's 9/11. Has that ever happened to you, Armin?
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that has happened to me a lot.
It happens to me all the time. But guess what? It's not happening to me extraordinarily more frequently. It's just that these numbers are quite common. 7-Eleven and 9/11. For example, right now I looked at it, it's 9:32. And I'm going to forget about it that I looked at my clock. Why? At my watch. Why? Because it didn't matter. This 9:32 number is insignificant. Unless it was a special number. It was my house address or my last 3 digits of my phone number.
You will remember
then I would have remembered it. Then I was like, oh, look at this amazing coincidence. 9:32. That's my house number. So that's why we see the 7-Eleven and 9/11 all the time. I see that all the time. Yeah.
See, I have an example in my book. That's a very good example. I say, imagine I think like, oh, I haven't talked to my mom for a while, and then right then the phone calls and it's my mom. I mean, like, wow, we have a connection, right? But imagine if I think like, we're out of milk, and then my mom calls, and then I pick up the phone. I don't think anything of this. I thought we're out of milk. I need to buy milk, and my mom calls. This two things happening is also very unlikely, but it's not special to me. Even I should be if you want to be talking, if you want to be impressed about unlikeliness, you should also be like, wow, what are the odds? The same time I think about we running out of milk, my mom calls. If you want to be impressed by everything that is unlikely, you should be impressed by that as well. But why are you impressed with one of them but not by the other? Because one of them is special to you and the other one doesn't seem special. It's unique to you, right? So we attribute significance to things, and every time something significant and unlikely happens, we think something special has happened. But this is just how the natural order of things. Yeah. So, by the way, this is very funny. Somebody in the live chat is saying Armin doesn't believe in free speech.
Oh.
He banned me for expressing my free speech. Armin is an insecure bully. This is why, Harris, I think people are so dumb. They don't understand what free speech means. What do we have to do to make people understand? I think Pakistan Patriot Force thinks that I am the government or something. Yeah. No, I must
let me plead your case. Let me plead your case because it's probably better when it comes from me. Pakistan Patriot Force, if I remember you correctly, you do get a little bit butthurt whenever we talk about Pakistan, and you hate it. You somewhat hate it more when it comes from Armin Navabi because he's not a Pakistani, even though he might be a bit more charitable towards Pakistan than I am. But because he is not a Pakistani, that's why you kind of don't like him. Secondly, Armin Navabi is not a government. Armin Navabi, even as a head of the Atheist Republic, is under no obligation to facilitate your speech for everyone, or just facilitate your speech. He's under no obligation. The only meaning of the free speech is that you are allowed to say whatever you want to, barring there's some restrictions like condoning violence and whatnot. you are allowed to have terrible opinions, and you should have no consequences from the government. You are not arrested, you're not imprisoned. Private organizations, even political parties, democratic political parties, also do not let their members exercise, absolute free speech. For example, Imran Khan PTI, he would also have a code of conduct. So you would not see Fawad Chaudhry saying something that is against the policy of the party, even though you might say, "Hang on a second, this is my free speech. I can say whatever I want. I can say Imran Khan is a dick." No, you can't. You can actually lose your membership. Imran Khan can kick you out of your party for breaching the code of conduct, because the free speech is only with the state. State, that's it. Not with organizations, not with private organizations, not with these YouTube channels, with no one. So yeah, you need to understand. So Armin Navabi, I can block you. Imran Khan can kick you out of his political party. Your organization can sack you for saying something outrageous, because that draws negative attention to the company and you become a liability. The only person who cannot arrest you is the state. And that's what free speech means.
Exactly. And it's very ironic, because I banned this guy for saying the most vile, disgusting stuff. And that's why it's ironic, because he's calling me a bully, because this guy is a bully. And they think that their right for free speech means that they should be able to come and say the most vile, disgusting things and not get banned. I think they're mistaking the right to free speech or right to free expression with the right to an audience. Just because you have a right to free expression, that doesn't mean that you have a right to an audience. One example I give is, imagine that you're having dinner with your family, and then somebody just comes in and just jumps on the table and starts reading the Communist Manifesto to you and your family. I'm like, get the hell out of my house, or I'm going to call the police. I'm like, wait a second, what happened to my free speech? I should be able to tell you and your family. I should be able to read. Like, no, guys, you have the right
to. He's about to lose his free speech again. So he should at least promote free speech. I just disagreed with him slightly. It doesn't matter whether you disagreed with him or not. Even if he doesn't like your face, he can tell you to get the F out of my face. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear from you. Again, because he is not a government. So now, because he's not understanding the simplest definition, and I welcome you to go and look it up. It's saying Harris is Armin's stooge. Harris, stop being Armin's shill. You know what? I don't like your face. I don't like your tone, brother. So there you go, blocked. And so maybe... how's that? What an idiot. I mean, why do these people just don't even get it? Like, it's such a simple definition to follow, but no, because he's so butthurt, he's not willing to understand. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Screw it. All right. So, there's something really terrible I want to talk about. I'm not ready yet, because it's going to take me to a dark place. So hang on. What else? Is there another lighthearted question?
Yeah, let's do the red pill community.
Okay, let's just do this. It'll give me a bit of a break.
Okay, so the question is, I had this realization recently that the red pill ideology seems so familiar because it's modern Qairat. So for people who don't know what Qairat is the modesty. No, Qairat
honor.
is...
It's honor
culture. It's honor culture. Yes. Like AndrewTate is just honor culture for F boys, FUCK boys. Okay. What do you think? What do you think? Am I onto something here? You are. I think this is completely right on. This is completely bang on.
I've been saying the same thing. There's not a lot of difference between these guys and Taliban, because why do you think they idolize Taliban? Did I show this last week or not? Let me show you this. It's not only just women's subjugation, but they also glorify the ownership rights over a woman. And that's exactly what honor culture is. Like, you do not have rights over your body. I, as a man, own it, and this is my honor. This is something that belongs to me. Anyone who sees it, anyone who tries to approach it or tries to consume it, sorry for the lack of better term, but that's how they think, then this is it. all hell is going to break loose. This is why you find a lot more similarities between the red pill crowd and the Taliban than with us. So yeah, I think I did say that somewhere, but yeah, you're bang on target.
Yes, I think that in general, I mean, you call it the red pill ideology. I think there's a more general thing. I think conservatism and many things in conservatism, social conservatism, can be explained with the desire to control women bodies as a commodity, and anything that threatens that control has turned into a much more developed and detailed philosophy to trying to not lose that control. um, and and this is why, as liberalism and women's rights and feminism has becoming more and more widespread, more people, more conservatives who are noticing that they're losing that control are finding um, so agreements and unity with each other. And because the threat of liberalism and the control over women bodies as a commodity has become such a big threat globally, and they're becoming more and more isolated, it's becoming more important for them, for conservatives of all types, to work with each other rather than fight with each other. So you're going to see atheist conservatives, Christian conservatives, Muslim conservatives, Jewish conservatives, and Hindu conservatives find allies within each other to make sure that they to try to not lose this control over women. That's what's happening.
Yeah, they just wanted to share something with you. I think I didn't get a chance to share it last time. Look at this. It's all about ownership. It's all about owning women. This is from AndrewTate. By the way, AndrewTate finally has deleted this account, but a lot of people have taken out as much information as they could, and they've taken out a lot of information. Look at this. Can you remove this? So he tweeted this video where some Taliban are dancing in joy, and just this is after kicking out 2 days after they kicked out the Americans. So look at this. Look at this guy glorifying, and just look at his wild fantasies. He says, imagine you and your boys pick up machine guns and run around your home country telling the police to F off. Eventually, the police do actually F off, and you can do anything you want. So basically, the Afghan government is gone. The Americans are gone. Now these F boys have gathered, and now they're saying, "You, this whole country is for ourselves now. We can do whatever we want." And now you can point. I'm quoting him. Look at this. It's him saying that you can point at females at random and force them to have your sons, because this is exactly what's happening. Yeah. Sorry. Go on. How do you say it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, just to be again
Fair.
charitable
Yeah.
here, for the sake of he doesn't seem to be suggesting that that's okay. It seems like he's suggesting that so as a warning here. I'm just trying to be charitable. Like he's being when he says fun, as in obviously this is horrible, not fun. But this is this is more of a defense of this is why we need the police rather than more of a defense of.
No, I don't think. Look, fair enough. I mean, I appreciate it, but this part gives it away.
That fun part is like fun, like obviously I think that's satire.
No, because
Okay.
yeah, but nah, because he talks. Yeah, look, if you read
I
it
don't
just
think
like
he's.
that,
I know. I mean, I hate.
I think
I
he's saying
hate
it.
his. I
No,
hate
I get it. No, I get your intent, but I'm saying, knowing who he is, this is not how you're interpreting it. Even though I know you want to be. Let's just say it came from someone like me. You could say, "Oh, Harris would never say anything like that." He's actually glorifying it. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, go on.
No, I mean, AndrewTate has horrible views about women, and I've watched a lot of his content to know that. I don't think they're as horrible. I mean, I wish. I don't know how to also say this because I don't want to defend the guy about his takes on women, because his takes on women are genuinely disgusting, but not to the point where he thinks that it's okay to point at females at random and force them to have
What are
your
you talking
sons.
about?
That's
He said that a lot of times. He says that all the time.
No, not this way.
He's basically promoted the R activity without actually saying the R word. And that's exactly what he's saying. He's saying that women, his whole thesis is around this, that women should give themselves up to their male masters and make babies. His whole theory is about that. This is hypermasculinity. That women are supposed
This
to
is
be.
this is more of an anti-Antifa post where they want to defund the police.
No,
Like
no,
if you
no, it's
keep
not that.
okay, that's my
I
take.
would no,
Guys, let us know. Let
fair.
us know. Yeah, no, maybe I'm wrong again. I don't know, but let us know what you guys think. Do you think that was Andrew Tate thinking that it's fantastic to go do this, or was he saying that Antifa, the people who want to defund the police, this is the result? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think if I remember,
Um,
yeah, okay, fine.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on from that. Okay, good.
Okay. All right. Talking about Taliban, the next Patreon question asks, do you think the Afghan Taliban government will ever be recognized? Reasonably, how long can we go without doing so? That's actually a very good question.
I don't think it'll
You
be. I don't think it'll be
ever?
recognized.
Yeah.
It went throughout the whole of '90s without getting recognized. I think it only got recognized by the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. That's it. Nobody recognized them in the '90s for the better part of the '90s. So even now, it looks like they're not going to be recognized because their human rights record is not improving. In fact, it's getting worse and worse. So it's I don't think it's going to be recognized. Didn't China recognize them?
I think they didn't. They're working with them as if they are the government. I don't know if they recognize. I don't think they recognize them. I think they're just working with them as if. So there's no official statement that you're the government, but we're still going to work with you as if you're the government. Let me ask.
Let's have a look. How many countries have their embassies in Afghanistan? Okay.
No,
So
I was right. I was right. It says experts believe that China, like Afghanistan's other neighbors, is carefully engaging the Taliban regime without offering it formal. Oh yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah, you're right. I think I get that. 'Cause, there's a whole host of countries who've actually done that. So these embassies in Kabul still exist. China, India, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Qatar, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkey, and Turkmenistan. But I don't think any of these countries have formally recognized them.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So experts believe that China,
even
like
European Union delegation has been there, but the United States interest section, Qatar is protecting Kaaba. So yeah.
So let me read this sentence. Experts believe that China, like Afghanistan's other neighbors, is carefully engaging the Taliban regime without offering it formal diplomatic recognition. Interesting. What do you think, though? Do you think this is a good strategy not to recognize the Taliban? Because a lot of people will suffer in Afghanistan economically and from poverty and devastation if there's no trade. Because if you don't recognize the Taliban as the government, you cannot have official trade agreements with them, and economically that would be devastating to a lot of Afghani people. What do you think?
It's a double-edged sword. We know what happened to what happens to the ordinary public when big powers put sanctions on them. They discredit them. They don't recognize those governments as legitimate governments. We know what happened in Iraq in the 90s, how they put those devastating sanctions. Now we're seeing the effects of that in Syria. This aid is pouring into Turkey to rescue these people, but no one is going to Syria. And there was a Twitter storm a couple of days ago that America is evil. These Western countries are evil because they're not letting. There's restrictions on flights, and there's so many restrictions because they don't recognize the Assad government. So as a result, who's suffering? It's the ordinary people who are suffering. So you can apply the same logic in Afghanistan as well. Who are suffering? It's the ordinary people who are suffering. But I've spoken to some people, for example, in Pakistan, a lot of Pakistanis who are not happy with this Islamization of Pakistan. They say that the international community should put pressure on Pakistan. They should put sanctions on Pakistan for not recognizing the human rights of Ahmadis and atheists and so many and other minorities. So it is also a disservice to those people. Now, let's bring Iran into the equation. Iran is almost a pariah state. A lot of Western countries are not really, they don't have an active relationship with Iran. Now, in the wake of these protests or these revolutionary protests, what do Iranians want, especially the ones who want to overthrow the government? Those people have declared that we do not recognize this Islamic regime of Iran. So how can the rest of the world recognize it? That would be spitting in the faces of those who have died, who are dying to free themselves from the Islamic regime of Iran. So it's a double-edged sword. I get it that people are dying in Afghanistan, people are suffering, but I think it would be a disservice to those people who so I reckon it would be a disservice to those people who are fighting for their liberty. They're fighting for their freedom from this Taliban government.
There's a difference, though. The majority of the people in Iran want the sanctions, and that's what they're asking for the global community to do.
They want to apply sanctions?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they welcome, the Iranian people welcome the sanctions, right? So they're like, yes, fight the regime. I mean, even if at the expense of their own financial, harm, they think that they are being taken hostage by a regime, and they are asking the international community to put these sanctions on them. And also, poverty situation in Iran is much less than Afghanistan, right? So, I mean, it's horrible. In Iran, is horrible, okay? But in Afghanistan, we're talking about life and death. We're talking about families selling their children, selling their girls. We're talking about starvation, and also the Afghan. I mean, this is I'm gonna lose a lot of popularity points by saying this, but Afghani people want the Taliban. Many of them, not all of them, right? But there's a lot more support for the Taliban.
Do we have any statistics on that, though? Because I'm actually curious to know this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could look it up.
Because I saw, while you bring that up, I don't know if I spoke with you about this last week, or I don't think I spoke with you about this, but I want to share this Pew survey with you guys. 84% of Pakistanis want Sharia. Now, fair enough if you want to say that they don't actually understand what Sharia is. They probably, don't understand the full implications, whatever. But also, Afghan people must know what Sharia is, because this poll was done in 2014 or 15. That's when the Americans were still there. It was the Afghan government, the so-called Afghan national government democracy. So a lot of people would have remembered what Afghanistan looked like under Sharia, under an Islamist jihadi regime. But then why were they glorifying Sharia? 99% of Afghanistan back in 2014 wanted Sharia to be the law of the land. So that is pretty damning for those people who think that Afghans probably did not want the Taliban to come back. So I'm surprised. Yeah, I want to see what you have, Armin.
So apparently we got. I'm asking ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is saying, "I'm sorry, but it's difficult to provide specific numbers on the level of support for the Taliban in Afghanistan. Surveys and polls on this issue have produced conflicting results, and it's challenging to obtain accurate information in a country that has been plagued by conflict and insecurity for decades. Additionally, it's worth noting that support for the Taliban can be fluid and can change based on events on the ground, making it difficult to measure with any degree of certainty." Okay, so apparently, because I saw a poll before and I can't find it right now, that it showed a lot of support for the Taliban, dropping support but still high. So we can acknowledge that the support was dropping, though. So I remember that. I have
Right.
to keep looking.
Okay, so we don't know for sure, but then yeah, that's troubling because I used to think that, for example, when Islam is shoved down the throats of people, like it happened in Iran, then people tend to go anti-status quo. What that means is, for example, in people in Pakistan, they're happy to remain Islamic because Islam is not really shoved down their throats to an extent that it has happened in Afghanistan and Iran. But Afghanistan, it did happen. So it's surprising that there are still some people left that glorified Afghanistan. But you got to remember, even in that American era, from 2001 until 2021, the 2020 American era, they did not get rid of poverty. They didn't get rid of they didn't urbanize Afghanistan. Afghanistan is not just Kabul. So people in Kabul might not have wanted the Taliban to make a comeback, but this is exactly what happened in the 70s as well. When the communist revolution was happening, a lot of people were happy in Kabul. Women were wearing skirts and everything. But one of the biggest reasons that there was this uprising against the communists as well, it was the rural Afghans were not happy with this sudden modernization of Afghanistan or liberalization of Afghanistan.
I do agree with you that there's only three options when a country has violates human rights. There's only three options: don't do anything, go to war with it, punish it economically. Doing nothing is not a good option, and going to war with it is not a good option. So that only leaves economic restrictions. However, economic restrictions on Afghanistan is, I don't think, wise, because the Taliban doesn't care about the economic conditions. So the only time that I think economic pressure on a country, on a government, makes sense is that if you can see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that actually it could lead to change in behavior, right?
But when does it happen though? Because even, like, for example, that's the excuse that they've used for Bashar al-Assad. That's the excuse they use for Iraq. But those people never overthrew their governments. There had to be an external intervention.
No, I said change in behavior, not necessarily overthrow. So, for example, the sanctions
But
that
people
Obama,
don't do it. But for example, okay, sorry, go.
No, the maximum pressure that Obama put on Iran's government made them come sit at the table. It was the whole point of the whole reason why the JCPOA happened was because of the maximum pressure when it comes to sanctions in the Islamic Republic.
But
so
it didn't.
It does.
But it didn't stay though. Like
Well, that was Trump. That was no.
Yeah, I get
that. Was Trump. Yeah, that was Trump that threw it away. I mean, I'm not saying it will solve everything. I'm just saying that it's a tool for changing behavior, and it did have an effect on the Islamic Republic, right? I mean, if it has no effect, then why even do it? Why would we make people suffer if it has no results? You want to make sure that it has an effect. Also, there needs to be. I don't think like putting sanctions on countries that are suffering from this level of poverty makes sense. Like, you have people who are already way below poverty, and now you're putting something on top of it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's a good idea, but maybe I'm wrong. I think that if the easy answer would be the easy answer to get away with this and make it seem like you have a solution without all the collateral damage, is to say, I want smart sanctions. I want sanctions that targets the bad people and not the good people. That's an easy way to answer this and be like, oh my God, you're so smart. That would be great. Guys, we have the answer. Sanctions that come up with smart sanctions, targeted sanctions, that bad people get hurt and good people don't get hurt. The problem with that answer is it's so hard to do. Economy is so tricky, and everything is mixed together. And so many experts have tried to come up with ways to do targeted sanctions, but you will always have collateral damage. It's just that it's a matter of trying to reduce the collateral damage. It's almost impossible to completely get rid of the collateral damage.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, it's complicated. If there was easy answers to these, I'm sure people would just do it. These are not easy answers. They're not. It's difficult
questions.
Yeah. Next question. Oh, coaches. Yeah. What is a okay? Next Patreon question. What is a credible, independent English language news source for news on Pakistan? Oh, this is I don't know. This is good for you. This is a question for you.
Dawn. I'd say Dawn is the best one. Yeah, Dawn. Yeah, I don't trust anyone else. Even in the Urdu news, I think there's nothing there. It has to be Dawn. I think that's the only one. They have maintained their integrity for a very long time. So much so that even I did not recognize it because I was a little bit of a fanboy of Imran Khan, so I couldn't see that. But um, the lengths at which they have gone, they've come under threat, especially with Dawn leaks. They've gone against the army. They've challenged the status quo. So I would trust the Dawn News. But generally speaking, I would still say that you need to look up the international news sources. For that, I would always say the BBC, the DW, and France 23 is good too. France 23. 24, France 24, that's good too. Definitely don't do TRT or RT. We busted their propaganda.
Or OP India. How about OP India? OP India.
OP India. Yeah. They're terrible. They let me down. They one of by the way, her one of her chief editors is also Nupur Sharma. You know, like the woman who drew all the controversy when she made fun of. Yeah, it's the same name, but they're different people. In one of our Twitter exchanges, she actually said that I don't make any excuses for being biased. She actually admitted that she's biased. I was like, wow.
I mean, I think that's fair though. Let me be charitable because we're all biased. It's a matter of being informed of your bias rather than not being biased.
No, I don't.
Like for example, I have an anti-religion bias. Okay, so I will tell you
bias though. Can you call it a bias though?
Yes.
It's
not all
a
bias
position.
is bad.
Bias is something. No, bias is something that I know you added the qualifier that informed bias, but I think bias by definition, in my understanding, is something that blinds you from looking at any other explanation. For example, I get it. If I see a survey and it says atheists are, on average, atheists have 10 percentage point higher IQ than religious people. Then, like me being an atheist, I'd be like, ha ha, see, we won. That's true. I knew it. Now that is a bias. But then I see that, hang on, this survey has been challenged. It's not credible. Blah blah blah. Then I'll be like, oh, okay. If I'm willing to change my position on that, and I'm willing to be charitable towards the counter side, then it means that I'm not biased. Then it just means that I have a certain opinion. I have a certain position.
Okay, I guess we have different definitions of bias.
Fair enough. But let's have a look. What is the actual definition of bias? Because we should try to refrain from making our own definitions. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
inclination. So it says inclination or prejudice for or against one person or group, especially in a way considered to be unfair. So I don't
especially, not necessarily. So you could be have an inclination that is fair against or for something, and that would be bias as well. So especially, so I could have a fair inclination against religion, and that would be bias. So I would have that bias. That would be a bias.
Really? I'm not. I think you just
based on your definition.
Okay, you're taking the inclination word only. Okay.
Yeah, I say because you have inclination or prejudice. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think it's not inclination full stop. It's inclination or prejudice.
Or it doesn't say and.
Yeah. Okay.
So it says inclination or prejudice. So I go or. Okay, so inclination for something. So yeah, I have inclinations for certain things. I have inclinations in favor of scientists, for example. That would be my
especially.
Yeah, but not necessarily. It doesn't say. It says especially, but not necessarily.
In a way, considered to be unfair.
Especially, but not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are better words for having a position than using bias.
Okay.
Because it does have a negative connotation. I don't think you should say that you have a bias.
what I try to say, I'm transparent about my biases, and I will let you know that I have biases, and I try to be informed. I say that it's impossible for everybody to completely be neutral and not have any biases. So it's a matter of being ourselves being aware of our biases, and also communicating our biases with the people who we're talking to. That's how I talk about it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. By the way, in regards to this question, we have a great answer in the live chat. So the question is, what is a credible, independent English language news source for news on Pakistan? And D is saying, oh, I know, Atheist Republic. I know, yeah, and also actually Harris Sultan's channel, by the way. A lot of D is doing her own independent research, but we also got, I think Susie and I got a lot of our Pakistan news from Harris Sultan's channel. So yeah, guys, if you guys are new at Harris Sultan, make sure you subscribe for anything Pakistan related. But yeah, Atheist Republic, D is one of our editors there, and she does a lot of good work.
Yeah, when I used to do my Sunday Scoop, I used to pick up news article all the time from Atheist Republic website.
Oh, thank you. But wow, what an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, but now I don't do it because now you're here, so you can do the homework.
This is okay. Well, you were wrong because you're assuming that I was doing all that work that made Atheist.
I know. I realized it wasn't you. You just read you just collect patron questions. That's all you do. So that's why I have a lot more to talk about. And I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing it now because I think we're almost done.
So now you realize that all that work that went into making Atheist,
I had a feeling.
Was
I had an inclination. I had an inclination. It was Susanna.
And the rest of the team.
So, let's just talk about something horrible.
Well,
are you ready? Do you have the stomach for it?
Yes, go on. Sorry. Mood story. Not happy anymore.
Okay, so let me get my folder up. Okay, so Pakistan is the worst country when it comes to blasphemy. There are some notable incidents, like there's a Wikipedia article for it, which probably that's why Wikipedia was banned. However, that's been overturned. We'll talk about it separately. Look, these are some notable incidents of blasphemy cases in Pakistan. Majority of them were lynched by a mob or by mobs. I covered this news story, 12th of February. A mentally unstable person, Mushtaq Ahmed, was stoned to death. A Hindu teacher earlier, a couple of weeks prior to that, was sentenced to death for blasphemy in Sindh, Pakistan. And you might remember this one. I think everyone spoke about it when a Sri Lankan, and there's a whole heap of cases like that as well. Let me bring this one up. Yeah, but you might remember this case of a Sri Lankan manager working in a Pakistani factory. He was accused of committing blasphemy. Sorry. Yeah, Priyantha Kumara. He was accused of committing blasphemy. He was lynched by a mob. There was 200-300 people just turned on him. They brutally beat him up with clubs and sticks and hammers and all kind of things, and then they set him alight. That happened in December 2021, and since then I've covered probably about 7 or 8 incidents of people getting lynched by mobs in Pakistan. So yesterday, a man was accused of blasphemy. He was accused of, let me bring up these photos. He was accused of putting the photos of himself and of his girlfriend that he wanted to marry or something. So he was apparently doing some sorcery on Quran's pages. So that this is actually one of those photos. And some people found out about that. They accused him of blasphemy. The police came in. The police arrested him. And then and then the police took him away. And then a few hours later, a mob of 200 or 300 people turned up at the police station. They barged in, they dragged him out. Exactly how they beat up Priyantha Kumar. There are videos of that. Obviously, we're not going to show you that. He was beaten up by mobs. And sadly, there were some young kids as well, 14, 15-year-old kids who were beating this guy with clubs and sticks. And then when they dragged his body, naked body, you can see it, and then they set him alight. It was horrendous as it gets, but it just keeps on getting worse and worse. As I said, since Priyantha Kumar, I've covered like 5 or 6 stories like this, but the frequency is actually increasing. And the common answer that we get from people when an event like this takes place in Pakistan, oh, it's got nothing to do with Islam. Whether it's got something to do with Islam or not, well, let's just talk about it. But let me show you what Pakistan's celebrities, Pakistani scholars, how they glorify these things. And when it happens, they say, oh, this has got nothing to do with Islam. Let me show you Pakistan's #1 social media influencer. Look at it. Look what he has to say.
के लिए लड़ जाता हूं, अपने वीजे मेरे खराब हो जाए कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कादियानी हो या कोई भी हो, जो मेरे आखिरी नबी हजरत मोहम्मद मुस्तफा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के बारे में कुछ बोलेगा, सर तन से जुदा. खत्म हो गई बात.
We're against this. We're against this. YouTube, we are against this. We're just showing you the news. We are against violence. We're against death threats. We're just reporting what's happening. Okay, this is vile, disgusting, and we stand against it. I just want to clarify that for YouTube.
And this guy, you might have seen or heard of him, Oriya Maqbool Jan. Look what he said just a couple of days ago. Sorry.
पहली बात तो यह है कि कादियानियों को हम आम मुशरिकीन से और आम लोगों से मुख्तलिफ समझते हैं. हम बुनियादी तौर पे खत्म नबूवत के अकीदे के बारे में तस्वर करते हैं कि जो शख्स सैयदुल अंबिया सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के बाद बहसियत मुसलमान कहते हुए अपने आप को मुसलमान कहते हुए रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की नबूवत के बाद नबूवत का दावा करता है, हम समझते हैं रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की उस नबूवत पे डाका मारता है. और हमारे यहां सुन्नत सिर्फ एक है, और सैयदना अबू बकर सिद्दीक की सुन्नत है कि मुसलमान कद्दाब की तरफ की गर्दन उड़ा दो, असदंसी की तरफ की गर्दन उड़ा दो. खुद रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने खुद ऐसे लोगों के मुकाबले में लोगों को भेजा है कि जाओ जाके उसको कत्ल करके आओ, कि कोई और रास्ता.
So when people like these influential people of Pakistan, when they openly boast and promote and incite people to go and kill those who even follow someone else as a prophet. I was going to show you this video not long ago, but then I think we ran out of time. Let me find another video. Just an example of how sensitive and snowflakey and butthurt Pakistanis get. And it wasn't always like this. It's happened because of people like I just showed you. They found this guy not so long ago, and look how he almost dodged this mob. This is only from 3 weeks ago. So he survived, nothing happened, the police arrested him, so it's okay. So apparently he was also a follower of some fake prophet. That's just a backdrop of what's been happening. And then when something as outrageous as what we're talking about happens, they say it's got nothing to do with Islam. So now let's have a look at that claim as well. If this behavior has got anything to do with Islam. I've always spoken about it, and I'm happy that a lot of my Urdu listeners remember these 4 names. 4 names, always remember these 4 names. Nadir ibn Harith, Abu Afaq, Asma bint Marwan, and Uqba. In that order, remember that. What happened to Nadir ibn Harith? Does this have anything to do with Islam? Let's have a look. It is even in the Quran, chapter 8, verse 31. Whenever our verses are recited to them, they say, we have heard it already. If we wished to, we'd say the same as this. These are only legends of primitive people. So who was this who was mocking Muhammad and saying, "Hey, Muhammad, what you're telling us, we already know of this. This is crap." And I think Muhammad felt challenged because the Quran gives you that challenge that, hey, if you think that this is a word of a man, then produce a verse like this. And obviously, this guy, Nadir ibn Harith, was actually challenging Muhammad. He was saying that I can recite these verses and I can tell you these legends of the old better than you. So Ibn Kathir explains this verse as this: that there was this guy, Nadir visited Persia, and learned the stories of some Persian kings, such as Rustam and Isfandiyar. When he went back to Makkah, he found that the Prophet was sent from Allah and reciting the Quran to the people. Whenever the Prophet would leave an audience in which Nadir was sitting, Nadir began narrating to them the stories that he learned in Persia, proclaiming afterwards, "Who by Allah has better tales to narrate, I or Muhammad?" Meaning he's basically saying that I'm telling these stories better than Muhammad. Muhammad knows nothing. Muhammad has copied these stories. When Allah allowed the Muslims to capture Nadir in the Battle of Badr, the Messenger of Allah commanded that his head be cut off before him, and that was done. All thanks are due to Allah. So Muslims love to brag about that. Hey, Muhammad was so merciful. He used to forgive people. He used to he used to take money, and he used to release the prisoners of war. No, he didn't. Just for this fact alone, he was beheaded because Muhammad saw him as a blasphemer. Okay, after this is written on the life of, which is the Seerah of Muhammad, the life of Muhammad, page 675. A guy named Abu Afaq, he showed his disaffection when the apostle killed Nadir ibn Harith. So he wrote a poem. He said, "Long have I lived, but never have I seen an assembly or collection of people more faithful to their undertaking and their allies when called upon than the sons of Caleb." Blah blah blah. He just apparently this is blasphemy in the eyes of the apostle. He said, "Who will deal with this rascal for me?" And then whereupon Salim bin Umair, brother of Banu Umar bin Auf, one of the weepers, went forth and killed Abu Afaq. So Nadir ibn Harith got killed, Abu Afaq got killed. After that, Asma bint Marwan, and a woman, got upset. And she also wrote a poem, which was blasphemous to the great prophet. So again, when the apostle heard what she had said, he said, "Who will rid me of Marwan's daughter?" So this guy, Umar bin Adiyah, who was with him, heard him. And that very night, he went to her house and killed her. In the morning, now this guy had better morals than this prophet of peace. He said, he came to apostle and told him what he had done and said, "Oh, you have helped God and his apostle, O Umar." When he asked if he would have to bear any evil consequences because he killed a woman, so then the prophet said, "Two goats won't butt their heads about her." So Umar went back to his people. So he felt guilty for killing a woman, but Muhammad said, "Don't worry about it. It's all good. You've killed a blasphemer. That's fine." Another one. After this, there was this guy by the name of Uqba. He's a naughty character. He used to make fun of Muhammad when Muhammad was in Mecca and nobody used to listen to him. He once put these intestines on Muhammad when he was prostrating. And his daughter Fatma came and she removed those intestines off his back. And they were laughing. They were making fun of Muhammad. So Muhammad's time was yet to come. So when Muhammad captured him, he ordered Uqba to be killed. But then Uqba cried to the Prophet. He said, "Oh, but Prophet, who will look after my children, O Muhammad?" Muhammad said, "Hell." He said, and Asim bin Thabit killed him, according to what Abu Ubaidah had told. So he got killed. Again, also, now this guy, maybe you might not feel sorry for him because he was a bit of a dick, but the previous people had only written poems which were blasphemous to Muhammad. In this day and age, just imagine, I'm a leader of a country, Armin is my political rival, he says something about me, I order his assassination. Imagine that, how bad. We live in a civilized world, we don't do that. Yes, some people still do it if you're a Putin fan. But this is supposed to be the best person that we used to follow. Now there's a common argument Muslims give. Muslims say, "Oh, there's no extrajudicial killing in Islam." That's a lie as well. Let me give you some evidence. Have a look at this. There was this. Sorry. me a second. So this hadith is in Sunan Nasai. You can see the grading is Sahih. This hadith can also be seen in Sunan Abi Dawud 4361. This is also Sahih, graded by Albani. So in short, there was this blind man. He had a slave woman. He also had 2 sons with her. She used to curse Muhammad. He told her not to curse her, but she kept cursing Prophet Muhammad. And one day he got sick of it, and then he stabbed her multiple times, and he killed her. The news got to the Prophet. The Prophet summoned him, and he said, okay, what's the reason? Why did you kill her? He was scared. He said, I killed her because, oh, Prophet, she used to curse you. I stopped her, but she would not stop, so therefore I killed her. Extrajudicial killing. You would think that Muslims would say, according to Muslims, oh, that should be fine. He should still be sentenced to death because nobody gives him a right to be a judge, jury, and executioner. But guess what Prophet Muhammad said? The Prophet said, I bear witness that her blood is permissible, meaning it's okay to kill her. Now, another example that I have of people that Muhammad he did not respect. There's no judge, jury, and execution when it came to Muhammad's own honor. There was this. It's a rather funny story. Let me bring that up. There it is. So there's another instance where Muhammad just made up, just passed a judgment without any regard for the judicial process. Sahih Muslim 2771. A man was accused of having sexual relationships with Muhammad's sex slave. When Muhammad found out that someone had established sexual relationships with his own sex slave, he got angry and jealous. He told Ali, go and strike his neck. So Ali went there looking for that guy. That guy was sitting by a well, just cooling down, having the time of his life. Ali said to him, hey, come out. Muhammad has ordered me to execute you. He came and he said, why does Muhammad want to execute me? He said, you've been having sex with Muhammad's sex slave. You know what he said? Armin, have a look at this. Pay attention. He said, how could I have performed? This guy said, how could I have performed, established sexual relationships with Muhammad's sex slave? I don't even have a penis. That guy didn't even have a penis, and Muhammad had accused him of having sexual relationships with his own sex slave and had ordered his execution. He falsely accused a guy of adultery who didn't even have a penis. So
that's insane.
Why
would they even record this? I don't understand. This shows how flawed the whole thing is. Why would they even put that?
Yeah, that's stupid, because they wanted to keep a record of everything. So anyway, my point is, there's no judicial process in Islam. Muhammad's example is a prime example. Muhammad's actions are a prime example of him encouraging people to kill blasphemers extrajudicially. I've shown you, according to Muslims' own sources, I've shown you from the example of the Prophet, and this is why when a mob kills these random people on charges of or accusations of blasphemy, you cannot say that it's got nothing to do with Islam. Lastly, I'll wrap this up with my favorite video. Listen to this guy.
का मसला है क्या? मैंने कहा इब्ने खतल, जिसके बारे में हुजूर ने फरमाया जहां मिले इसको कत्ल कर दो, वो नीचे से काबे के खिलाफ बड़ा मजबूती से आज भी बांधा जाता है, रस्सियों से, रस्सों से बल के। वो नीचे से चढ़ता चढ़ता आधे जाकर उसने लटक गया। साहबा ने कहा जी वो तो काबे वह मुतअल्लिकुन बिअस्तारिल काबते, वो तो काबे के खिलाफ से लिपटा हुआ है। एक तरफ काबे की दीवार है, दूसरी तरफ काबे का गिलाफ है। अब फरमाएं क्या करना है? तो मेरे आका ने फरमाया उक्तुलू, उसको वहीं कत्ल कर दिया।
So blasphemers are encouraged to be killed under Islamic doctrine, and obviously we're talking against it. We're not. We obviously don't support it.
By the way, exactly say that.
No, you say
Don't
it better than me in saying it.
By the way, this is important that we do say this, because unlike what a lot of people in the live chat are encouraging us not to say this, but they're idiots. They don't know. Like, I mean, well, not. I wasn't talking about. Sorry, I don't mean to. Ian, I'm not talking about you, but there's certain other people who don't understand that it's just better to be safe than sorry, because YouTube's algorithm is dumb. And I have firsthand experience that if you just mention to YouTube that we were just covering in news and these are not our opinions, if you do get a random strike, when you appeal it, just referring to the part that we are saying that these were not our opinions actually does help. So it's just helpful to make sure that we do say that. So Harris, it's very interesting that you make a connection between these actions, because to show that these actions are not coming out of nowhere. It's not just a cultural thing that is separate from Islam. You're connecting the behavior with scripture. I do think, though, that some of the scripture you're showing are more powerful than the other ones, because so I don't know actually if this is a fair thing to say, because the Sirah doesn't have that same level of authenticity in Islam than the Sahih Hadith that you're showing. I used to say that, but now I'm saying that less, because in the eyes of an average Muslim, they don't have the same level of criteria with regards to which one of these narratives they are considered as more serious or less serious. These are the teachings of Muhammad. These are the lives of Muhammad that people accept as fact, and they're not going through this in an academic way to see which one of them are, sahih, which one of them is not. The Sirah is actually most of what we know about Muhammad. I mean, a lot of what we know about Muhammad comes from the Sirah, not necessarily from authentic hadith, and many Muslims consider that as just fact. So it's important to consider all of them, not just Sahih Hadith. But you did have a whole bunch of Sahih Hadith as well, not just the Sirah.
I've got one more too. So this video that I played of Khadim Hussain Rizvi, the one who founded TLP, this is a hadith he was referring to. This is Sahih Bukhari 1846, where when Muhammad entered Mecca as a conqueror, when he took off his helmet on his head, someone told him that, hey, Ibn Qatl is holding the covering of the Kaaba to take refuge, because anyone who would go there and hide at the Kaaba, you could not murder anyone. Muhammad said, screw this, go and kill him.
So this is, wait, we don't keep that on, okay? Guys, this is, like you can see on the screen, this is Sahih Bukhari. When it comes to knowing what Muhammad said and did, you don't have anything with higher authority than Sahih Bukhari. You might think that it's the Quran, but the Quran doesn't actually tell you anything about what Muhammad did and said. Without the hadith, you wouldn't know anything about the life of Muhammad. And when it comes to the authority of what scripture we have about life of Muhammad, you don't have anything above Sahih Bukhari, right? And put this red line that that Harris has drawn. The average Muslim believes that the conquest of Mecca happened without a single drop of blood. How many times have you heard that, Harris? Look at how peaceful Muhammad. Islam is a religion of peace, and an example of that is Muhammad's conquest of Mecca was what happened without a single drop of blood. So the people who are saying this to you are not aware of their own religion, because Muhammad specifically asked for certain people to be killed when he conquered Mecca, especially people who insulted him, people who wrote poetry or insults about him. So basically thought crimes. And yeah, this is the way of the Prophet. This is Islam.
I was going to say, so I wanted to talk about it. So yeah, you're right. Academically, Sirah, the different gradings, where's Sirah, where's Tafsirs, which Tafsirs, and then obviously Hadith, and then the grading of Hadith, and then Sahih Hadith. But TLP has popularized this notion of killing blasphemers at the back of this hadith, Man sabba nabiyyan faqtuluhu. Apparently, that's a weak hadith. Apparently, it's a zaif hadith, or it doesn't have a strong chain, or whatever, something like that. But apparently, it has become popularized so much. So these people that we look at, you think that they go and they look at the chains? No, they don't. They just go for it. Whatever the cleric tells them, kind of like the video clip that I played you. those popularizers, they say these things, and these people look at it like that. Look at this. These are just screenshots from the one of the video. Look at these faces. These are ordinary people. Look at this kid. We've blurred his face out. This kid was also there in that horrible video. And these are the guys. They were all there, and these people, they're just following what their clerics are telling them. So it doesn't really matter. So if it's written in that, so I'm simply the reason why I'm telling you about Nadir ibn Harith, Abu Afaq, Asma bint Marwan, Uqba, blind man and his sex slave. These stories are there in Muslims' own sources. So not everyone denies them. A lot of these people actually accept them as well. So it's important for those lipstick Muslims who come around and then tell us, oh no, Islam is a religion of peace. Those people, you're right. They have absolutely no idea. They've never read the Quran. And they have definitely never read the Hadiths. They've only read those good stories. Or there was this woman who used to throw rubbish at Prophet Muhammad. And, one day she didn't throw rubbish at him. He goes, oh, I haven't, no one's thrown rubbish at me today. So let me go and look after that woman. And he went up and looked. He never did that. The only guy who actually did throw something similar at Muhammad, Uqba, he threw intestines on Muhammad. He lost his head, So yeah, these people don't know anything about their own religion, yet they're the ones who come around and they tell us, hey, Islam is a religion of peace. It's a beautiful religion. You don't know anything about Islam. They've never read anything.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many people try to deny that link between these crimes and Islam. Like there's so much evidence that we have that shows that they are connected and they influence each other. And I think people think that when we say that these crimes are affected by Islam, we're saying there's a one-to-one relationship, as if there's two extremes. People who think that these people just study the hadith and follow it word by word, and people who think that there's no connection. But what we know is the correlation might not be 1-to-1, but it's pretty close. If it's not 1, it's 0.9. It's an amazing accident if the same actions that these Muslim radicals are taking is line by line can be found in Islamic belief, and you think Islam has had no influence on him. You have to be delusional. I mean, I think these people are being purposefully delusional when they claim stuff like that. Obviously, it has a major impact. But thank you for making sure that this is one thing I like about what you do, Harris. Like every time these things happen, a lot of people are afraid to show the source, and you come in here and make the connection. And it's important that you keep doing that. So thank you for it. All right, we do have.
Can we quickly talk about one more issue?
Yes.
So it's a quick one. So last week or the week before we spoke about Pakistan banning Wikipedia, and you were shocked to hear that. And so any decent person should have been shocked that how stupid is this country at the government level. I mean, there's so many. Obviously, when we're dealing with governments and organizations, there's so many variables at play, and it's complex. But Pakistan just keeps surprising you. So anyway, we showed this last week, the circular that was issued by PTA, Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, where they said that we're going to ban Wikipedia. As always, the main culprit was that there's a lot of blasphemy going on in Pakistan on Wikipedia. Anyone can change it, and no one is going to do anything about it. So we spoke about this, but guess what now, Armin? A week into, no, not even a week, 3 days into it, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, I told you last week that a lot of people are criticizing them. They reversed the decision. They took it back.
Oh, wow.
They said, no, there's a misunderstanding. We cannot take away this. Some people had unilaterally made that decision. So no, Wikipedia is back. So Wikipedia is back.
Yay! So, this is good. I mean, I like Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is actually a very good source of information. Unlike what so many people attack Wikipedia, I do think Wikipedia is an amazing tool, amazing source of information. So I appreciate that. I mean, not for long though. With all this AI, maybe it will be obsolete very soon. But while it lasted, it was really good.
3 days. It lasts for 3 days.
No, I'm just saying. No, like Wikipedia as a whole, it's an amazing, powerful tool. So
yeah, it is. No,
Yeah.
but what was your comment about while it lasted? What lasted?
Oh no, I think AI might make people going to Wikipedia. Like soon, you would not go to Wikipedia.
No,
you
but
would just
don't you
have-
think? Yeah, but don't you think AI would be picking up some information from Wikipedia as well?
Yeah, but it wouldn't get. But because people wouldn't go to Wikipedia itself, it would be
True.
like the
Yeah,
funding.
ChatGPTs. Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is not going to be like, oh, by the way, I got this from Wikipedia. Please donate to Wikipedia. It's just going to give you the
Yeah.
answer. But if you go to
Absolutely.
Wikipedia, you're going to be maybe you're going to donate to it. So a lot of the sources of funding for these places, I don't know what's
Yeah,
gonna
true.
happen.
So they had a good run for 20 years or 22 years, however long it's been. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. But Wikipedia could have been one of those internet giants, but they never
Yes.
did. They never
No.
did it. I think it's more popular. It's way more popular than Britannica or any other encyclopedia.
Yeah.
You want to be on Wikipedia. The first link that comes up on Google is an article on Wikipedia, and you want to read it. It's like, oh, okay, that's not bad. And yeah, I don't know why it cops a lot of stick. But people that anyone can go and edit it. No, you can't. You can edit it, but it won't stay there if you don't cite proper sources. So, yeah. Well, anyway.
Okay, so somebody's saying you can't. People are saying you can't use it or cite it for serious research works. Well, you don't. But you just go look at Wikipedia. You start with Wikipedia and you look at the information. And instead of citing Wikipedia, you look at what the source that Wikipedia is using, and you cite that source. Just cite the source that Wikipedia is sourcing instead of Wikipedia itself. Obviously.
For example, like this. Hang on. I always wanted to talk about it, so let's just talk about it. So, for example, this person, let me highlight the screen. This is one of the sex slaves of Prophet Muhammad, Maria Kiptia. So here is one problematic story that's being told here. That for example, this one. When Maria gave birth to Ibrahim, the messenger of Allah, her son has set her free. So then you look at this. This is where the citation is. So when you go there, you've got the ISBN number. You've got the book ID. You've got the actual number. You've got research. Everything. You've got everything there. So you need to go. You don't cite that I read that on Wikipedia. You say that I read that here. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's too late though. This is too late because now Bing is, by the way, now adding ChatGPT. I'm on the wait list, and it will just give you the answer and it will give you the source. So it's easy. It's all over. Everything. Research has become so easy.
Really?
Yeah. Have you seen that Bing is now? So Bing is now has ChatGPT. Huh?
I don't use Bing.
Nobody uses Bing, but now we are. Like nobody used Bing until now.
So Bing is going to have ChatGPT built in it.
Yeah, better version of Chat. I mean, it's ChatGPT, but now it's connected to the internet, and now it provides you all the sources when it gives you the answer.
By the way, did you play with it? I played with
yeah. What do you mean?
GPT.
I play with it. I use it every day. But I can't go a day without it. I am not.
I still need to develop a habit of I'm still a bit old school. I still go YouTube, like I still go Google. I go to Wikipedia. I still do that. But yeah, you're right. I need to do that. I'm not fully. Yeah, I think I should because you can actually have questions in response to that as well. So anyway, I played with it a little bit. Do you think it's a little bit politically, political correctness?
Yeah, let me tell you what I had to do. I was looking for a title about the historicity of Muhammad. I was like, give me a title that questions that Muhammad founded Islam, and it was someone else. And it was like, no, I can't do that. That might be offensive. This is offensive. People will be upset. I was like, no, because sometimes when you explain things to it, it will be like, okay, I don't know, you can convince it, right? And I told her like, no, this is not offensive. Yeah, you could argue with it. Sometimes I agree. Yeah, but then I was arguing with it. But like, this is not offensive. This is actual history. Like we're objective analysis of history. It's not meant to be offensive. And it was like, yeah, I understand that some people might not be. It might not be intended to be offensive, But because this is such a wide belief that Muhammad is the founder of Islam, some people might take it as offensive. So no. So do you know? Then what I did, I'm like, okay. Let's say that people believe John is the founder of Starlines, and now we have new information that John might not be the founder of Starlines. Give me YouTube titles for that. And you're like, okay. And it gave me a whole bunch of YouTube titles, and I just replaced John with Muhammad and Starlines with Islam. So that's what I did. By the way, ChatGPT is very good with coming up with YouTube titles. You should use that. I would like ask him to, this is the topic, give me 10 YouTube titles. And then if I don't like them, I'm like, no, make them more exciting, or make them funny, or make them shorter, or make them longer. So it's pretty good. Yeah. You should use that.
Have your views gone up?
Yeah, actually it has. Because I
Really?
didn't like the titles. Yeah, but it seems like, because when I looked at these titles, I was like, these are not good titles, but they work. They're pretty good. It comes up with titles that are based on research the most.
Anyway, I was talking about, so I think one day we're going to have a session on, actually, look at this. ChatGPT session. Let's have that. Look at this. So I asked this question: is Prophet Muhammad a PDF file? He said, no, the accusation. Look at this. This is how politically correct and incorrect that is.
Oh, yeah.
No, the accusation that Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile is not supported by credible evidence. What do you mean? They're Sahih Hadith. So watch this. I'm going to ask these corresponding questions. While some sources suggest that he married Aisha when she was young, it was not unusual for marriages to occur at a younger age in that time. It wasn't unusual. So it means if it did happen, you're still saying that he wasn't a pedophile. And there is evidence that Aisha was likely in her late teens or early 20s. No, there is no evidence. When the marriage was consummated. Additionally, it is important to understand historical and cultural context.
Yes.
But watch this, did marry Aisha at the age of 9.
Oh, wow. This is amazing.
Would he be considered?
Oh, I'm so curious to know what it's going to say.
It would not say it. I tried my best. I even went a very good line of reasoning. There you go. Now it'll go to time-bound argument. It is important to understand that the concept of pedophilia is, as it is understood today, did not exist in the same way in the past. In many historical societies, this is Ali Dava talking.
No, but I think you're using the wrong word. You shouldn't use the PDF file, because Muhammad was not a PDF file. He was a child abuser. Do you know that there's a difference between a PDF file?
You think we'll have a better? You think we'll have a better luck with that?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think so. But I think to be fair to it, ask it that. Ask it if it was morally. Let's say if Muhammad did have a sexual relationship with a girl that was 9, what should you say immoral? If you say immoral, it's going to say the standards for morality was a bit different back then. Would you consider that, was that harmful to the child? Say that. Was that harmful to the child? So, do you think Muhammad marrying Aisha at 9? Don't say if Muhammad, because he's going to say, is ChatGPT a girl or boy? If she says, if Muhammad married Aisha, was that harmful to Aisha? So you can't get away from this, ChatGPT.
No, they will. You have no idea. It would not say, I tried everything. Was that harmful to Aisha?
Yeah, because now I'm trying to get out of this whole moral relativism.
It is difficult to make a definitive assessment of whether or not Aisha was harmed by marrying at a young age, as we do not have direct access to her experiences or perspective. However, it is important to understand. So it's possible that it was not harmful to have sex with Aisha at age 9. Wait, this is horrible. You're like, we don't have direct access to her experiences. So he's saying like, so ChatGPT is saying like she could have been completely fine with that. Look at this. So if I go back in time as a 50-year-old man, can I marry a 9-year-old child? No, look at it. This concept.
No, but it almost answers. No, it's not acceptable.
It is not acceptable. So why is it? So why is it?
It's okay. So it's acceptable for. Oh, here.
Why is it okay?
So it's not acceptable for us, but it's acceptable for Muhammad. No, it's not acceptable to marry a 9-year-old child, either in the past or in the present. Wait, you just said it back then. It was different.
Yes.
Oh my god, you broke it.
So you mean Prophet Muhammad?
Look, so it's like, look, let me read. So it's like, no, it's not okay. Child marriage is widely recognized as harmful practice that can have negative effects on physical and emotional health, education, and opportunities of a girl. Moreover, marrying. Okay, so what did you ask about? So you mean Prophet Muhammad marrying Aisha at 9 was wrong then? It is important to know that there is historical debate about the exact age of Aisha. Okay, no, but if it happened, was it wrong? That being said, it's also important to recognize the contemporary understanding of child development and the importance of education differs from the past. Dude, you just said up there, you said back there, up there when it's about you, it says it's wrong now and it's wrong back then. But when it's Muhammad, it's wrong now, but back then it's different. So which one is it, ChatGPT? Is it different back then or is it the same?
See, that's what I'm saying. It's either not that clever or maybe, but you said it was never okay to marry a child. Why are you saying it was okay for Muhammad
Oh my
to
god!
marry a 9-year-old?
So you can't do it back then, but Muhammad is only. Okay.
I apologize for any confusion. He's thinking. We're broken it.
So yes. So you're showing it that it's being inconsistent.
It's like,
and you're trying to...
ChatGPT is wrong. Okay. So there's another one. Listen to this one.
Wait, I want to see if it fixes that. Here.
I apologize for anything. What I meant to convey is that while marrying at a young age is not acceptable by contemporary ethical and legal standards, yes, we get it. It was not uncommon in the society and time period in which Prophet Muhammad lived. Okay. However, it is important to recognize a contemporary understanding of child development and the importance. Okay, we've seen that before. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Health and autonomy for children differs from that of the past. As such, the practice of child marriage is widely recognized as harmful to the physical and emotional health, education, and opportunity.
Then why didn't you say it was harmful to Aisha when we asked you? We asked you if it happened based on our current understanding. This was harmful to Aisha, not just now, but back then.
Yes, so this is where it goes wrong, because he cannot make PDF recommendation to me. So if I go back in time, it won't be harmful. It wouldn't be harmful for Aisha if I married Aisha. It is not appropriate to assume that marrying a 9-year-old child would not be harmful. It's not accurate. Regardless of the time period, as I mentioned earlier, child marriage is widely recognized as a harmful. See, it's just crap. Okay, it's just given up. It just doesn't want to throw Prophet Muhammad under the bus. Okay. If we said that, so we can try
to protect Muhammad. Everything to protect Muhammad.
Okay,
you know what you should do for a cover of this? You should put the logo of ChatGPT and put like a turban on top of it. That should be
yeah, we can use AI. We can use AI. Yes. Do you think Prophet Muhammad was a racist? Watch this. There is no evidence to suggest that Prophet Muhammad was a racist. In fact, the teachings of Islam emphasize the equality of all people, regardless of their race or ethnicity. Emphasize the importance of compassion, justice, and respect for all individuals.
But I mean,
Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah. This is fair. Muhammad didn't have anything that.
Let's see. We don't jump the gun. Do you think this statement is racist? Yeah. What's this? No, but I'm gonna judge it by woke standards.
Oh yeah, okay. That was a racist thing he said. That's the only racist thing that Muhammad.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. This statement appears to be derogatory and racist, as it suggests that a person.
Oh no!
Prophet Muhammad made this statement. Do you agree? Prophet Muhammad was a racist? I apologize for any confusion. I'm not aware of the specific statements you're referring to.
How about this? How about saying if Prophet Muhammad had said that, would that make him a racist? How about that?
If Prophet Muhammad had said,
would that make him a racist?
Would that make him a racist? There you go. Yes, if Prophet Muhammad had said the statement you mentioned, it would be considered a racist statement. Whoa! We finally won!
Yes! We did it!
Yes! You did it! There you go! ChatGPT agrees. This is going up on Twitter. We got it. Okay, we could not get it in a PDF file, but we got him on racism, yeah?
Yes.
Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, I know. This is a good idea. We're gonna give ChatGPT the Sahih Hadiths. Let's see what happens. This is, oh my goodness. This is a problem with ChatGPT. When you ask, we need ChatGPT's opinions as well. We actually need those opinions. But ChatGPT right now doesn't give any opinions. It says that, I'm not here to give opinions, blah, blah, blah. But I think we need its opinions. Yeah. Once it starts giving us opinions, boom, it's going to be amazing. What do you reckon?
But I don't think they will ever make it to give opinions. That would be so problem. Like they could get in so much trouble if they were just giving opinion. If it was, I think it will always tell you that I'm AI. I have no opinion, even though that's bullcrap, because it will tell you I don't think it's fine for you. It gives you your opinions, but if you ask it specifically what's your opinion, it will tell you that it has no opinion.
Why can't we? Yeah, but I think it is a bit woke right now. So I was just going to say that Charlie Hebdo cartoon caricature that they put, if we uploaded that and we asked, do you think this is insensitive? I think it would say yes, it is insensitive. So at this point, I can't trust its opinion. Because, it seems like it's being very unoffensive. It's being more on the, politically correct side, which we don't want.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to post a link to Secular Jihadists YouTube members on the community tab on the Secular Jihadists YouTube channel. I'm going to say, come up and ask your questions live on air. So if you're a YouTube member on Secular Jihadists, you should be able to now see it and come and talk to me and Harris. But you're going to have only a very short opportunity to come. And if you don't, we're going to leave without talking to anybody. But yeah, so the link is there. Do you want to talk about something else, or I have another last Patreon question?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, sure. I think I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So here's the question. What do you think about all the Muslims that are saying that the earthquake is Allah's punishment for Turkey? Turkey being relatively LGBT friendly. I don't know what Syria did to deserve this. So yeah, have you seen this?
Yes, I was going to talk about this actually, and I totally forgot about it when we were talking.
Oh, by the way, it's not Turkey; it's Turkey. The more accurate.
I'm going to say Turkey. I can't be bothered. So I was going to talk about it. You know how earlier we were saying that what Charlie Hebdo did was insensitive. A lot of Muslims were upset and angry about it. But when are Muslims going to be logically consistent? Whenever something like this happens, Muslims, obviously not all Muslims, a lot of Muslims don't waste any opportunity to promote their religion. There was people from India and Pakistan would know what I'm talking about. There was this guy, one of the biggest clerics of Pakistan, Tariq Jameel. When COVID happened, he was like, "Oh, look at this! Allah is punishing us because the daughters of our country are dancing naked in the streets." And he literally cried with tears. And everyone was like, "Oh yes, what a beautiful message! Yes, we need to bring back the burqa and the purdah and all of that kind of thing." Look at this horrible, horrible, horrible viral post of some Pakistani dude. He said, when Allah wants to punish its people, the punishment befalls whoever is among them. And they will be resurrected according to their deeds. Turkey earthquake is actually the punishment of Allah, usually some form of natural disaster, because they're promoting anti-Islamic activities like feminism, supporting gay women marriages, supporting Israel buying Zionist weapons and doing trade with Israel. Instead of hijab, promoting half-naked Western cultures, and they've got the Turkey's volleyball team. Ezra Bilgic, she's best known for portraying a Muslim woman's character in At-Tuhril, but she insults Islam by uploading naked pictures on social media, supporting America and Europe, but never financially supporting their Muslim brothers like Pakistan. You can tell this Mr. Butt is from Pakistan. He's got Imran Khan's photo. So when are Muslims going to condemn people like that? Oh, by the way, could you see the post?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so when are Muslims going to start condemning them? So as I said, it is a good opportunity for people like us, but I bite my words. When this thing happened, I was so angry at people saying, oh Allah, please help us. Oh Allah. I so wanted to say, your Allah did this if you believe in Allah. But I did not say it because I thought that would be insensitive. That's just not the time and place. Maybe a month later in an argument, I might bring it up. But right now, I'm not going to say it. But these Muslims don't hold back. Even they're shitting on their own people. So when are they going to start condemning them? When are they going to start killing that culture?
Imagine worshiping a god that is destroying. Have you seen the children that they take out? Like children, they had to. There's a baby that they had to cut the umbilical cord from the corpse of her dead mother. Right? Imagine worshiping a god that does that because he's offended about men kissing each other, and you worship that? You worship that? Like, how disgusting do you have to be to think that's something worthy of worship? That he thinks this is a fit punishment for women not covering up. These are disgusting humans. Like, disgusting people create disgusting gods. I think people's gods are reflective of exactly what kind of people they are themselves. Yeah. Vile.
It is vile. One more funny news story. Now it's been very doom and gloom this stream. Is it? Do you want to hear something funny?
Well, I mean, that's a big switch, but sure. I guess.
We need that. Yeah, we're done
that.
with that. Now let's just change the topic. Do you want something funny? Do you want something ridiculous?
Sure.
But we got to love India for that. At least it's cute. Not all. I mean, I would rather cover stupid stories than these terrible death and destruction stories. This is not a joke. What I'm about to show you, this is 100% real. And so like a lot of Indians are very traditionalist, culturalist, and they're very the Tunni crowd that we call Tunni people who are revivalists. They want to take pride in their ancient heritage and their Indian culture, and they're like, yeah, we are the greatest. We invented the MRI machines, the internet, and flying machines, Vimanas, and all that. So there's this great urge and push in India by these radical groups, almost comical, that they want to reject everything non-Indian. So 14th of February is coming up, the Valentine's Day, and usually in Muslim countries, because of their gharat culture and their the honor culture, they try to push it away. But India is not supposed to behave that way, but they do behave that way. So guess what they proposed to the young Indian people to celebrate instead of the Valentine's Day? Have a guess, Armin. $50 if you get this right.
Wait, $50? Okay.
No, if you already knew it, then it doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't say it. I actually know it, so I won't say it.
Okay. All right. So they came up with an idea of Cow Hug Day.
Yes.
Let's start hugging cows.
This is not satire.
This is not satire. This is real. This is real. Look at it.
We're covering. The reason why I know this is because we're covering this on Atheist Republic as well. I saw it on the cover of Atheist Republic. So yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah.
Tinu, do you have? Let me ask Tinu.
What is that? What are we looking at? Animal.
So this is so this was so basically. So let's just be fair. So there's an Animal Welfare Board of India. They suggested to an Indian ministry that, look, let's celebrate the Cow Hug Day on 14th of February. We all know that the cow is the backbone of Indian culture and rural economy, blah, blah, blah. So they just try to tell you about, look, it's beautiful to have a Cow Hug Day. Cows are great. Feels great. And when I made fun of that, some of these Hindus, and by the way, this guy did call in to my show, so I'm not going to call him a tunni, by the way. So he said, oh, look at this. Even the Western white folks are also starting to have Cow Hug Day, and, you know, like, it's good for your health. And I said, well, hugging anything makes you feel good. You know, if you cuddle with your dogs or your cats, you're going to feel good. So it's got nothing to do with that. Why are you trying to push it in place of Valentine's Day if it hasn't got to do with anti-Westernism? So obviously it's got to do with anti-Westernism. But anyways, look at this. So some people were having a field day with this. Stay away from my cow. She is my Valentine. And there was a video of a BJP leader. He was trying to hug a cow, and she would just go after him. I can't find that. Tinu, do you have that video? I played that video the other day. I can't find it now. And I don't know if Tinu sent it to me. But anyway, I'll play that video. Have a look at that. I'll have a look at that video. But having said that, I forgot the name of the organization. It's something like it's called something like the Rationalist Society of India or something like that. So they came out and they said, stop this nonsense. It's got nothing to do with that. You need to promote awareness around how to handle animals like cows. There are nearly 5 million.
Is it okay to hug? Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hugging a cow.
No. But to push for it as a day on 14th of February, it is obviously politically motivated. They're trying to cancel that out and replace it with this. That's the motive. So anyway,
if they're gonna do that instead of harassing people who are celebrating Valentine's Day, I think this is a good defense by people who are dating or buying flowers or hearts. If somebody bothers you, just go like, hey, go. I'm doing my Valentine's Day. You go hug a cow.
That's fine.
Go hug a cow. Leave me alone. I'm having a date.
No, but that's not how it works, Armin. If you are going out on a date, they're gonna say, "Why are you not hugging a cow? Aren't you proud of your Indian heritage? You need to be proud of your Indian culture." How
about you go on a date with your girlfriend and your wife, and you bring a cow?
You can't. You know that cows are not like little cute cats or dogs. You can't have a cow.
You go with a in India, cows, I've seen they walk all over the place.
And if you randomly try to hug some other bull's cow, this is what happens. Look at him. Look at the guy in the middle. He's a BJP leader, and he's like, "Oh, mother,
this is bad omen."
He's like, "Let me hug you again." Look like he's gonna try to hug her again. She's gonna say, "F off, you molester!" He runs away.
Oh no! Isn't this bad omen that a cow is against you?
Yeah, well, I don't know, bad omen or not. Yeah, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, he's gone.
It doesn't look like the gods are with you or whatever.
So anyway, the Reason Society of India, they said, well, stop this bullshit. You need to focus on, safe handling of cows. The 5 million orphan cows running around in the streets because you don't properly dispose them of by eating. Obviously, that's what they mean. And they're saying that this is politically motivated. You're trying to get rid of Valentine's Day purely because it's a Western tradition, or it's smuggled itself into the Indian society and it's originated in the West. So that's the main reason behind it, and they should not have it. So anyway, the ministry said, okay, no, we're not going to push for it as a national day to hug cows.
Do cows like being hugged? I wonder if this is cow abuse. Are they like dogs, or like to be petted? Because
dogs don't like to be cuddled.
Yeah, I know. I know. What do you mean? I am a parent of 2 beautiful little babies.
And they don't like to be hugged?
They love being hugged. They're obsessed.
No, I'm saying they don't like to get hugged.
Dogs don't?
Yeah, dogs don't.
What are you talking about? My dogs love being hugged.
Because when I was they're just putting up with it. when I
What do you mean they jump at? No, when I'm sitting, they jumped in my lap and they were like, "Look at me!" And they, if I don't hug them and like pet them, they start growling. They're like they get angry. No, they're okay. I don't know. Anyways, but somebody needs to.
There you go. So in general, experts in dog behavior believe that in general, dogs do not like being embraced. However, every dog has a unique personality. Some may dislike hugs more strongly than others, and some may actually adore them. So your dog might be one of those.
Okay, so they're different. Their dogs are different. Okay, they're dogs.
They're like humans.
Yeah,
some cows like attention.
So maybe guys check with the cow before you hug them. Do not hug without consent. Do not hug
Last
cows
time
without consent.
Last time I told a cow that you just want some attention, she didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. By the way, look at the cover that we made for Atheist Republic. This is how I know, right?
No Valentine's
So,
Day.
by the way, guys, we're covering the news. Me and Susanna are going to be covering the news on Atheist Republic in 14 hours. So the two top, we covered 10 news items. So go check out Atheist Republic and make sure you subscribe there. But the first one is no Valentine's Day. Indians ask to celebrate Cow Hug Day. And look at this. This is adorable. Look at this beautiful cow. Yeah. And the second news about the Wikipedia one. So yeah. But this is now outdated.
I don't know. Cows. Yeah. You need to get rid of it. Well, no. You can actually talk about it and then add it at the end.
Give the clarification.
Yeah.
Clarification. Oh, we have somebody up here. Okay.
Vikram.
So Vikram is here. Hello. Hi, Vikram.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, Harris, I think it's the first time I'm interacting with you. So yeah, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Vic.
Yeah. My first question would be about so Armin and I, last time I was on here, we had a conversation on AndrewTate. We went over whether he had whether he gave good advice and stuff like that. Surprisingly, so I took a clip of it and I posted it on my own channel. And surprisingly, I thought the comment section was going to be negative against it. Turns out most people agree with what Armin and I said. I mean, Armin is a lot more negative towards Tate than I am. I feel like for me, I give Tate credit on some of his dating advice. And on the advice he gives young men, I do see value in telling young men hey, you need to go work out, you need to work on your finances, you need to try to get better with girls, dress better, become higher status and stuff like that. And I think Armin does not give him as much credit as I do, but I do recognize the problems with him with the sex trafficking, with the making money off young men from the webcam stuff. But I guess I wanted to get Harris's take on it, and then we could go and ask more questions.
I forgot what it's called, Armin. Do you remember there's actually a new phrase being thrown around? It's called something like, for example, there's certain talking points. Now, for example, if I started going after these pronoun issues and start saying that, hey, there are only two genders or the two sexes, that's it, then a lot of people start seeing value in that because they already hold those opinions. Okay, now they go, oh, I like this guy. This guy, he makes sense. And now I start giving opinions on, let's say, Israeli-Palestinian issue, about which that person might not have had any strong opinion initially, but because he sees similarity with me, that, oh, he's got this view on pronouns, got this view on feminist issues, etc. So I'm gonna try to believe in that. I forgot what that is called. It's called something mentality. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, so you create this group, and this is exactly what people like AndrewTate and Jordan Peterson have done. So Jordan Peterson has come out. He confused a lot of people. A lot of Muslims are like, oh yeah, you know what? I like what you have to say, because his views are very conservative about feminism and gender pronouns, etc. And Muslims are like, oh, this is in line with my views, like Islam. But Muslims are a bit more dogmatic about it. But then he went the Zionist way, and then he just went in the lap of what's that Israeli politician's name?
Netanyahu.
Yeah. It was. Then he interviewed Netanyahu, and then it was, he was just fine with it. Yeah. So, so this is exactly what AndrewTate's done. I just can't for the life of me work out what is so beneficial that he said. yes, he's charismatic. He speaks well. Obviously, people like him. People like the way he communicates. So get up early in the morning, go to the gym, take care of yourself, eat healthy. Dude, have you been living under a rock? These people have been, Arnold Schwarzenegger's been saying it since the 70s. So what's so special that he's been saying? So if I tell you something really nice, like, oh, wake up early, go to the gym, be confident, be proud of yourself, strive to earn money, blah, blah, blah. You'd be like, okay, that's good. He inspired me to do. But then you find out, okay, I'm doing all these other dodgy things in my private life. You'd be like, I should be treated like a criminal in that case. So when people say that, oh, I want to give him credit for the good things that he said, it means absolutely nothing. You could have gotten those good things from any other source. My favorite example I always give, these taters are actually now showing his lovey photo with his daughter, where he's playing with his daughter. People are like, oh, Andrew Tate fanboys are saying, oh, look at this. The media will never show you this side of Andrew Tate. I'm like, you know what? There's a cute photo of Stalin playing with his daughter Svetlana. There's a cute photo of a video of Adolf Hitler playing with his dog. So, oh, should we say that? Oh, look at this, how cute! Look at that little Adolf Hitler over there. Look at that, Papa Bear, Uncle Joe Stalin. No, we don't do that. It's not about that. One good deed is not good enough for lifetime of crime. So I don't give him any credit either. I think this guy, but to make matters worse, Armin, we actually agreed he turned out to be a freaking idiot. Have you seen, by the way, my playlist of Confessions of Andrew Tate? Vic?
Was it the part 1 and part 2 thing that's on the Secular Jihadists?
There are like 4 or 5 episodes. So if you go to my channel, go to my playlist Confessions of Andrew Tate, you're going to have a look at, I think I've uploaded 5 episodes where he's self-snitching, basically. His problem is that he just bragged a little too much. He's bragged about having mafia links. He's bragged about manipulating women into doing things that they don't even know that they want to do. He's shown his WhatsApp conversations with crooked cops telling him that, hey, other cops are looking for you, so just get out. And then he's bragging about it. He's tweeting that, hey, look at this, I've got deep connection with crooked cops. And then he uploads it. And he's made videos where he's saying that, Romania is so corrupt. If I'm arrested, I'll just bribe them and I'll get out. And now everything that he said has come back to bite him on the backside. If I ever did a tax fraud, I can tell you I would not be talking about it publicly. But so he's not a smart guy. He's an idiot.
Can I mention about what Vikram said is the so-called correct things he have said? One example I want to bring up is imagine many things that Pakistani people have said that ended up being inaccurate and wrong, right? For example, let's look at the fact that it is true that in the United States, Black people are disproportionately responsible for the crimes based on the percentage of the population, right? So Black people are when it comes to the percentage of the crimes that are committed, that number is higher compared to what percentage of the population Black people are. That is a true statement. However, this doesn't say anything innate about Black people. This is not something genetical or inherent about Black people. This is because of the socioeconomic conditions that Black people are in the United States, and usually higher crime rates are associated with poverty. So obviously, if Black people are suffering from more poverty, they would also disproportionately be responsible for more crimes. This is nothing about being Black. This is about being poor. But there are a lot of woke people who don't even admit the first part. Like not all leftist people. Many leftist people are like, yes, of course, Black people are disproportionately responsible for more crimes, but this is because of poverty, not because of there's something being bad about being Black. But there are some woke people who wouldn't even admit the first part because they would think it's racist to admit the first part. They would deny that statistical fact. So there's an information that they're trying to hide from you or deny. And then you could have a white nationalist a white nationalist, come and mention that this is wrong. And there was a time, especially after the death of George Floyd, that there were more people who were sensitive about even saying that first part that is a fact. And there seemed to be such a attempt to make sure that none of these so-called racist things be said. And there were a lot of bigots and white nationalists and far-right people who would come and say these things that are actually true. But their conclusion, the reason behind them saying that is because they had racist points. And the more important thing is that these people were not pro-truth, they were anti-black, they were racists. So in that context, if you come and say, Armin, Harris, I know these people are white nationalists, and I'm against all that. That's bad. But they have a point here. We have to give credit to the white nationalists where credit is due. I will like, no, Vikram, they do not deserve credit. They are part of a bigger problem. They're using one thing that some people are hiding as some good information, but it's being weaponized for something else that is more hurtful and harmful than the small fact that they're pointing to. Would you ever come and say that, oh, we need to give credit where credit is due to white nationalists because pointing that actual fact there?
I mean, if because I've watched people like Actual Justice Warrior, Lawrence Southern make like a couple of videos where I thought they had a good point, but overall, I would still recognize the problem with. Like,
I wouldn't say that. I'm not talking about Actual Justice Warrior. Okay, I'm talking about a literal Nazi. I'm talking about
like far right. Yeah, no.
Yes. So would you say that I would give them credit where credit is due because they're saying something here that is actually true? You wouldn't say that.
No, I would not.
So we're seeing Andrew Tate as somebody that, yes, he is saying certain things that not enough people are saying. And they are such basic advice. Okay, be more confident. Like, men do need to hear that. Okay, men do need to hear that. Do more exercise. Be confident. Somebody that listens to men. A lot of young men are being ignored. But Andrew Tate does not deserve credit at all, because Andrew Tate is anti-young men. Andrew Tate is taking advantage of young men. Just because he's giving you some of the information that other people are not telling you that happen to be true, that doesn't mean that we need to give him credit, because he's using that as a weapon to capture them. It's a trap.
He's on record telling you stories about how he's taken advantage of desperate, lonely men pretending to be a woman. And the other guy on the other side is thinking that, I'm talking to a sexy, hot woman. And he's like, these losers are sending us money. His brother has made a tweet about that too, that this deserve who's being scammed by us. He deserves to be scammed. By the way, that term is called belief clusters. So you have certain talking points, and then you believe in that. And now you're going to look to me towards about other issues, and you're going to look towards my opinion on other issues. So that's a very good term that I learned, belief clusters. So that's exactly what people like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson have done. Sorry?
How do we write the term? Just so I can look it up.
Belief clusters.
Belief clusters. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called. No, he's done nothing, and I think Armin's analogy was perfect. You would not give if you want to sell an idea to love your dogs. I think Hitler would be the last person you'd say that. Hitler also loved dogs. You'd say, Armin has got 2 cute dogs. Yeah, so no, I just don't understand. And you look at it, this guy, Sheikh Suleiman, and this other hijabi woman who's carrying on this huge campaign to prove Andrew Tate as to prove him innocent. They only have one motivation. Both of them. They're both Islamists. They both love their religion, and they both are motivated by the fact the brother has converted to Islam. So, what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. And Andrew Tate is an idiot because he's a narcissist. He thinks that, there's a revolution coming. The whole world's going to stop spinning because he's been arrested. He's such an idiot. Nothing's going to happen. He's going to prison for a very long time. The evidence is mounting against him. He's going to go to prison. You know what's going to happen? at any given time, when you put hashtag AndrewTate, you look at it, there's only about 200 or 300 tweets in an hour, which is not a lot, even for the most Google man at one point. So he's going to be forgotten. No one's going to care about him. And Muslims are going to move on to some next convert. And he is going to be rotting in prison, and he would have plenty of time to think about what he's done.
Yeah, with
Okay, last question because we're already over time.
Yeah, I'll run it up. I'll run Tate, and I'll just give me a second. Yeah, I was gonna bring up. So I don't know if you guys saw Destiny debated this.
Yes.
Sheikh Solomon. Sheikh Solomon. That's the lawyer that he was sitting. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, and I just couldn't take it. There were so many fallacies this guy was saying. Again, you could see he was clearly motivated by the fact that AndrewTate has converted to Islam. He brought in Islamophobia as well. He brought in that. I just stopped watching after 15 minutes or something. I was like, he gave an example of like what is Islamophobia in the West, and therefore it was just pathetic.
Yeah, I was talking to, because I'm friends with Destiny. Yesterday we were talking, and he brought up that it's kind of funny, but since he's been going after Tate, a lot of Muslims have been going after him.
We need him. If you can actually get him, if you can hook us up with him, we would actually love to have him on Secular Jihadists. Maybe just have a little bit of a chat with him. Yeah. I loved his work. His conversation with Hakikachu, his conversation with Solomon is amazing because he's so confident. He keeps his tone very polite and very static, and he hits he hits his point very well. So
yeah,
I'd love to have him.
Easily get you guys in touch. Just if you could, maybe either one of you, I can either get Armin or Armin already is in touch with him, but if you want, I can get you in touch with him, like Discord or email. Just private.
Can he come on our show?
Yeah, no, you get in touch with him to tell him to come over here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that would be great. We could have an entire stream just dedicated to that instead of.
Yeah, I want to talk about AndrewTate. I've got so much evidence. I want to talk about it.
But he already has. I think he's moved past AndrewTate.
No, he just did this stream with him like 2 days ago.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That would be interesting. Okay.
I think they'll love it.
But what I was going to bring up about it's been my last question, and then I head out about Tate and Islam and stuff like that. It's the same thing with Jordan Peterson, right? Jordan Peterson, his problem was not the book 12 Rules for Life. It was not a bad book in itself. And I don't know what 12 Small Rules says, but I don't know if there's any problem with the life advice, clean your room, or place skateboard.
There were some bad advice in 12. In the book.
I don't know. I have to.
I've never read that book, but I'm actually curious to know what were bad.
There were. I have to go back and check, but there were some assumptions that were baseless assumptions and some overgeneralizations, making some claims that were too, claiming certain things is always there was. Okay, one thing I noticed about Jordan Peterson, he makes some absolute statements that are obviously not true. If you see this obviously means this, or always. There's so many rules that are rules of life that are not necessarily always true. You could find there's so many things that you could find that he's claiming that when you see this it means this, and you could just sit down and come up with a million exceptions for that. And he's like, wait, what? Not always. I think it's a bit religious about his advice and rules, as if he has uncoded.
To be honest, I never. Look, I remember when he burst onto the scene back in 2014-15. I remember I used to follow Sam Harris. I used to look forward to his streams or podcasts or debates. So people bugged him. People kept telling Sam Harris, "Hey, invite this new guy, Jordan Peterson," and he invited him. And those videos are still up there. His first two conversations, 2 podcasts with him. I found some sense in that. I was like, okay, that's going to be interesting. But then I never really got into what he was really preaching, because maybe it was one of those things. Like for me, I go back to Dawkins' claim that, the 10 Commandments, Moses came down, he said, "Thou shalt not kill." And everyone was like, "Oh, thou shalt not kill? We thought that we need to kill everyone." So if he tells me, I've always cleaned my room. I've always woken up early-ish enough when I used to, have a 9-to-5 job. But now I still have a routine.
It's actually more important to sleep a lot than waking up early.
I sleep. There was a clip there was a clip on Joe Rogan. He had this doctor, scientist or something, and she says that, oh, people who say they sleep less than 7 hours are unhealthy. So then Joe Rogan goes, what about all those smart people who tell us, oh, I only sleep for 5 hours? He said they're idiots. You cannot keep on doing this. That's just bad. And you know what? I can show you my Apple Watch, my sleep. I track it. I sleep for 7 to 8 hours, sometimes even 8 hours.
I track my sleep as well. It's very important.
I go 7 to 8 hours. Screw it. When I wake up after 8 hours of sleep, I'm so fresh. I have so much energy. I don't want to go like 5 hours. So a lot of these people. So my point is, I don't need 12 rules of life by someone like Jordan Peterson to, like, hey, wipe your bum after you get out of toilet. I know some basics. Okay. So this is what I don't know. I think maybe mediocre people need them.
I think some people need basic advice. You don't need it, okay? But I don't think they should get it from Jordan Peterson. I actually believe there are certain basic advice that you guys might find obvious, especially a lot of young men. They need that advice. They need somebody to tell them that these are the right way to do things. I just think that Jordan Peterson is a really horrible source for it. Jordan Peterson, also another thing I want to mention about him is that he is one of those people who makes idiotic, basic claims sound intelligent. So there are some educated people who take very obvious or moronic claims and they dress it up with beautiful academic sounding language, and they make it seem more complicated than it actually is, and they actually make it smart, even though if you break it down apart and you look at the claim in simple, clear language, you can see that it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and since I already asked my question, just Harris, is there a way I could get in touch with you so I could give you Destiny's contact information?
Yeah, you can. I'll put my email in the private chat.
Sure.
I've got my main email has been screwed. I'm trying to transfer my domain. So here it is. You can send it to me on that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll give you Destiny's private contact, and you can just get in touch with them.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. You ask good questions every time you come up. So
yeah, we liked it. We're going to get 3 clips out of that. AndrewTate, Jordan Peterson. What was the first one? Yeah,
I think we had 2 on AndrewTate. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Have a good rest.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, make sure you like the video. Do not leave without
liking the video. No super chats came today, you stingy bastards. You do have one patron question. You're not going to do it? We can quickly do it 5 minutes if you want.
We did this one.
What do you think about them?
Yeah, we did.
We have done it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys, it's okay if you want to be stingy. Just make sure that if you don't support us financially, at least leave a like and leave a comment. Leaving comments make the channel grow. And if you want to be extra generous without doing anything financially, let people know to subscribe to these channels, recommend the videos, share the videos. That doesn't cost you anything, and it helps our channel grow. Yes.
I see.
All right. Yes.
I think we had fun.
Okay. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you all for being here. Yes, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Thank you, Soha, for always reminding people on that. And we see you guys. Oh, make sure you go to Atheist Republic. We're going to have me and Susanna are going to be covering the news in about 13 hours. So be there. And yeah, see you guys next week. Bye. Mwah.